We're live.
Didn't ask me to confirm.
I'll confirm.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the stream. I'm Kim of Kim Fixes Things. I'm co-host tonight here on the Buck Del Campo channel. Welcome to Friday Night Cleanup Crew. I'm here with your host and namesake of the channel, Buck Del Campo. But you already knew that because you're here. And we are here to clean things up.
Yeah, I've been driving the Zephyr, the Z7, daily driver now, and
although I made him not drive it the other day.
But I drove it today.
You drove it today?
You know what happened? And I didn't need help. Normally, Kim has to hold the choke while I start it because the choke doesn't work. An accelerator pump isn't very good. But it was 85 degrees, and I gave it like 2 shots of gas, and it fired right up. So it was really warm out there.
What do you mean by 2 shots of gas?
With the gas pedal. Just started pumping when I was cranking it. Started right up.
But it was warm.
It was 85 degrees, yeah. So under the hood, it's probably even warmer.
See, there was a part of me that was wondering if maybe there was a clog in the accelerator pump and that maybe it would just soften up and clear itself, but that seems unlikely.
We got people in here.
John Bossums says hello. Kevin Smith says congrats. Lester LeSabre says hello all. Lester's got to be excited. His car is either on the way or delivered.
Buff's telling on himself. I'm telling on myself?
Well, yeah, because he had to go across town to a doctor's appointment, and the weather was mediocre, and it was chilly.
Pouring rain.
Yeah, and I was like, don't take that car because it's not starting well, and the last thing you want to do is be on the side of the road with the hood up trying to mess with it. Just take the Jeep. The Jeep is well sorted. It runs. It never gives us any trouble. I said, take the Jeep. It's a difficult day. You can miss one day with your car because he's Tavo's here.
Look who got the 9 o'clock. Tavo.
Tavo, you get 3 points. You nailed it on the time. And there's quite a few other people here who are going to get points, but they better throw up a comment.
Throw up. Don't say throw up on here.
Birth me some comments here. Check them up, babies. Olive is here. Welcome to the stream. More tornadoes. So the tornadoes, they go up the tornado alley. And that's not to say that a tornado could never be in our part of town, but generally they swirl up above Clarksville.
The north end of Clarksville gets it. And it's flat up there, and they knock houses down, they rebuild them, and they knock them down again.
Yeah.
And they go across Nashville.
If you drive up there and you really look at it, there's no no groves of tall trees or anything like that. It's all been wiped out in the past. But here we have oak trees that are big around. They've never been disturbed.
So pieces come down sometimes.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, and we're in the Hillies, so the weather gets kind of pushed geographically just a little bit north. I mean, not very much. Like, it's scary how close it gets, but it kind of pushes to the north. So we were spared any serious damage. Before the stream started, I came out here and there's ponds of water soaking up into the equipment and cardboard boxes and firewood and all the places that you don't want water. But that's how it goes. That's when it rains for 2 days and blows and blows and blows. It comes under the doors. It comes through the window thresholds. It's a mess, but it's part of the, we have this building, and I'm very grateful for it. So if that's all as much maintenance as it needs as me to run wet dry vac or a mop or something, then I'm okay with that. Hippie Long is here. Tim got here really early. Did Tim make the other people was Buddy Carfano. I'm giving you 2 points. Kevin Smith, I'm giving you a point. Patrick Sullivan, I'm giving you a point. And Lester LeSabre, I'm giving you a point. So
Tuttle says he missed 2 minutes. You know what happened is John Wilburn was on, and we just came on because I wanted to be on when he finished, so people they knew because I'd been in his channel.
Well, is he still going, or we don't even know?
I don't think so. I don't know. He's usually finishes about 9, so I wanted to be already up when he ended, so people could just roll over to here. But Tavo, you were right on time. You nailed it. So you didn't really miss anything.
Lester Saber said he lost power for 18 hours. That's obnoxious, but honestly, yeah, it's less than a day, so that's not so bad. Tim, I'm awarding you 2 points because you were here first, and you got here within the first 5 minutes, so that's how I do it. So I have some rules. I give out points. Uh, I don't keep track of the points. I don't got a database. I don't got a spreadsheet. I award the points. You keep track of your points. It's on your honor, right? We're all trustworthy people here. So, keep a running tally. How many points you got? Make some little strike things or whatever like that, like you would if you had days in prison, and tally up your points. Honestly, I had an idea to make a die to stamp out some things that I thought would be cool giveaways. I don't know. At some point, we really are going to give away things for people with points because you guys are also generous and supportive, and we appreciate this. Rainy Day Autos asks, "Is this the after party?"
Hey, Rainy Day Auto
It is.
said, "I'll try to make it." From John's live.
Yeah.
And Rainy Day Auto's here.
Wow. There is no
Cool.
try. There is do or do not do. Right? Thanks for stopping in. You don't have to stay for 3 hours or some garbage thing, Just because our crazy asses are sitting here streaming does not mean you have to stay here.
Mexican Spec says, John is done. Dean Stevens said, school's out.
Woohoo! Right? You don't even have to be on good behavior here. Just don't bring up politics because it just starts arguments. But otherwise, yeah, we can have fun. Let's see. So I keep my points on a thumb drive, like a swear jar, like Bitcoin, right? You have a Bitcoin wallet. It's like that. If you want,
Awesome. Oh, wait a minute. So I keep my points on a thumb drive, like a swear jar. Buff, do you rather drive a straight 6 or V8? What about Kim, 6 or 8? Well, I like them all. I'm driving that car around with 6 in it, and I remember mine that had a pretty good running 302 in it, and I feel like going just like half throttle and buzzing around somebody, and I can't do that with the 6, but it's okay. So I guess at some point I might consider putting a bigger engine in it. But for right now, and for the No Name Nationals this year, I'm going to run the 6, and I think Kim's going to take hers with the 6. Hers got a brand new, fresh everything 6 in it, and she put an automatic in it. So she's got lower gears and 25 more cubic inches than me. But yeah, we'll race just for the fun of it. You never know what'll happen, but she'll probably just like pull away from me. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
I will talk about the V8 thing in a minute, but I'm scolding Mexican Spec, you just got here. You're already starting trouble.
Mexican Spec, with that question, it better be what kind of car he drove today.
I'll bet it was a Tesla.
And did he race it? No, I don't want to hear what he did.
Hidden nitrous. Yeah, I heard you guys were talking about it. A straight 6 is a smooth running engine. I am looking forward to putting some miles on the new Slant 6 engine in my Dart. Honestly, it's not even broke in. It's still got the break-in oil in it. I think I put about 3 miles on the car so far, and I'd really like. Are we going to try and go to the car show tomorrow? It really depends on the rain.
Oh, I forgot about it's supposed to pour rain tomorrow. Aren't we having like a big old rainy day thing coming in? Well, tonight
we won't know until.
Well, the thunderstorms are supposed to hit us around midnight. Let's see. Well, you see where we are and see what that is.
Yeah,
see,
I don't know.
We've got the blue dot right there, and you see what's coming our way.
That wave could be gone by morning. I don't know if we're going to get another one or not.
Okay, let's see here. We've got to find the. Yeah, it says now it's saying 10 p.m. That's an hour from now. We're supposed to start having thunderstorms. And tomorrow all day and then into Sunday. So I don't know. All day thunderstorms sort of sounds like that's going to be a rain out on a car show. I don't know.
Can I make a prediction that is mildly political?
What's that? I don't know.
It's pretty political.
Well, we could start a political channel. Huh.
I'm going to talk about whether I like 6 cylinders or V8s. Is that political?
No.
Okay, then I'll do that.
That can start a kind of discussion I like.
I'm really looking forward to running my Slant 6, right? I can't think, have I ever talked about owning a V8 powered automobile?
Oh, you haven't. Oh, wait a minute. Have you? Oh, you got a truck, but you just drove it around here a little on the property.
Yeah, which one? That green truck?
The green truck.
Right.
Yeah, the other ones don't really. Run.
I have a second gen Ram. It's a '94 with the 318 Magnum, and I've never even really drove it on the road. I don't think I even drove it up the block yet. My brain scan came back negative. Tavo, you don't know how lucky you are, because
that's good.
Some of us
excellent.
Some of us wish that we didn't have a brain to where they went to the brain scan and they were like, nope, there ain't one.
I went to a brain scan. Yeah, they couldn't find one.
No, it just came. What are my results, doctor? The results are strict. They're just
negative. No brain.
How does my brain look?
I was from the Wizard of Oz. No brain. Jeez. Dean Stevens, yes, it's political as Z versus Z. See, I sort of like Z better because all these Z cars, there's Honda Z cars and Nissan Z cars and Z28s and all that. And then I say I've got a Mercury Z. So it's like, what?
So I'm desperately trying to think back to anything that I've owned that was hot roddy with a V8. I can't think of anything. I had a Monte Carlo. It was a 4.3 V6. It was an 85 Monte Carlo.
Just the six weren't this way. They were this
in a
way.
V, yeah. I've driven work vans that were V8s. But, they weren't cars.
Oh, your van. Oh, no, your van's got a V6.
My van's got a V6. It's a 4.2, so it's very close to a 5-liter.
You've driven my van a little.
Yeah, but it's a van.
Yeah, it's a van. It's a 4.6, and it's not geared right.
If I'm going to drive a full...
It goes just... It has the same feel that your V6 does.
It really does.
It does.
So if I'm going to drive a full-size commercial vehicle, yes, I want it to have a V8 power, but I don't want to pay the... My van gets really good gas mileage for the size of the vehicle. So, Go a 2,000 horsepower blower engine under your car for no-name nationals.
What did Mexican Spec
say? Yeah, just throw it in there.
Mexican Spec said the Fairmont with a V8 is a different animal than yours, Buff. Yeah, I know. I've had a Fairmont wagon with a stock V8 in it with the California smog and variable Venturi carb and all that. It was okay. And then I had mine with a built 302 in it, and that thing was really nice. And I've had 4-cylinder, 2 different ones with 4 cylinders, and 4 speeds with the Pinto engine. And then this first one I've had with an inline 6, it drives okay. And I like driving it. I mean, it just feels so good to drive that car. And I'm remembering every time I drive it, it comes back a little like what my other ones were like, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm also noticing some of the things I didn't like. The upper seatbelt hook thing that it comes over, I forgot how those things, when you pull the seatbelt down, they always fold over. That thing swivels up. It's just a terrible design. It folds over, and then the thing jams. You got to fuss with it every time. And I got thinking, I remember my last, my Fairmont Futura, which is the same body I have now. I'm thinking, man, I don't remember that problem. I'm thinking. I'm going, oh, yeah, it had a roll bar. It had a roll bar in it. And I put the harness that has the fold over 3-inch wide belts on it. So, oh yeah, that didn't have that problem. So now you know what I'm thinking. I got to do that to this one, but I don't know. Right now, I'm just fighting with the stupid, terrible design seatbelt.
Mexican Spec says he's here doing comic relief. Good job, Mexican. He says you can't compare a U.S. V8 with a Mexican V8. Did they not? They never smogged out the Mexican
I think the
V8s,
only stuff that was smog on those was probably the
so they had the higher compression ratio, huh?
I don't know what they had or didn't have. I know it's a different block, it's a different casting, and yeah, it's basically non-smog. Uh, I assume they didn't have catalytic converters, but I'm not sure. They might have had the the non, the what do they call it? The fuel vent that goes up the engine. I don't know. Uh,
Raw Dog suggests I should buy a two-stroke quad. Raw Dog, I'm telling you, if I had the space, I would buy all the things. If I had all the space and all the money, I'd buy all the things. But we are bursting at the seams with vehicles that we don't have any use for yet. So yeah, we're not buying any more stuff.
well, also the Mexican spec said something. A big van with a V6. Yeah, hers has the what is it? A 4.2?
Yes.
4.2 V6. I've driven that thing around. We've towed trailers with cars behind them and everything. It does fine. Going uphill,
It's a little
yeah,
bit
you
of
got it. You got to select the gear yourself, and it's not going to be fast pulling hills, but it does okay. Uh,
if we were doing that all day, every day,
it's the
we
wrong
would,
engine.
yeah. But honestly, for what it gets used for, mostly it's more engine than it needs. Still, the 4.2 is still everything it needs and more. So, and the 4.3 V6 that Chevy makes, that was in the Astro van really commonly. And unless you were really working it hard in a commercial setting, they did the thing. I know that 4.2 in my van um, is one of the one of the better engines that Ford made
Well, it's
during those years.
got a
Really
lot of
good.
miles on it. Doesn't use
It's got
oil.
200,000 miles on it.
It
It's
just
never been out of.
always starts, always drives.
It weeps a lot of oil though. I gotta check the oil before I start it even again.
Rainy Day Auto. How do you direct messages someone on YouTube? I'm trying to send another YouTuber my phone number. I can't find how you direct message.
You can't.
Okay, you can't. But what you can do is go in their YouTube channel, and some YouTubers like me, I don't know if mine's in there, they post their email address, and that will usually, uh, sometimes that'll work. I do post my email address in here so people can send pictures and communicate with me. But yeah, there's no messaging system like there is with some other messaging systems or messaging, other social media. Uh, let's see here. I missed something else too. Oh, Dougster, have no fear. Raw Dog, Ford Windstar van. A Windstar van. That's a little van. That's like a Ford Taurus in van form.
A Windstar. I think I owned a Windstar.
Do you have a Windstar or a? There were a bunch of different Ford vans. What was the one I was telling you I
This
had?
one was a big, like family kind of van. It was a minivan, but it was a big one.
The Aerostar.
No,
I had an Aerostar that had a 4.0 Cologne engine in it that was surprisingly fast. That just surprised me because Cologne engines are always just not very fast, and that thing just flew. But it was a 4.0, not a 2.8 or 2.9 like most of them.
93 4.3 Astro had 350k miles when totaled and still ran great.
I had an
Yeah.
Astro van with
So
a six-cylinder.
they build some of those vans to be downright commercial. Chrysler is absolutely the exception. The Chrysler minivans were all very they were soccer mom vans, and they come apart at 100 to 150,000 miles. You'd need a transmission sooner if you drove it like it was a car. If you drove it like it was a car, they didn't really even hold up. You had to drive it like it was just like
I had a shop many years ago with a good friend. He and I ran a shop together, and we did a lot of suspension work, sway bars and stuff. And then we also did turbocharging. He did most of the turbocharging, but his wife bought Dodge minivan when they first came out. The very first ones had a inline four-cylinder, crosswise four-cylinder. She drove it in, and it was the first one we'd seen, or that I'd seen. He'd seen it already. Open up the hood, and I'm looking in there, and I'm like, "Hey, Gary, we could take a whole drivetrain out of a Toronado." And she goes, "No, you don't." And she closed it and drove off. Hey, you're not touching this.
Protect your car from those crazy people.
Yeah, and Gary, he was 5 years older than me, and he just recently passed away. Man, he's a good friend, but one more gone. He got cancer. He got cancer and didn't make it. He got cancer and made it through it once, and then 5 years later it came back fast. Let's see here. He'll be missed. Let's see. I met a guy with a big cube Buick 6 using a Cadillac 4.1. 4.1 was a V6? I thought that was a V8.
A 4.1 could be a V6.
Oh, I thought the Cadillac 4.1 was a 6.
I don't know.
Kevin Smith says Aerostar was a rust bucket. The one I had, see, in Southern California and Arizona, nothing was a rust bucket except a Vega. Vega's rusted anyway. But the Aerostars down there didn't. But when I got up there to Ohio, the Aerostar I had was a extreme rust bucket. And the guy came all the way from California to buy it. I put it on eBay. But he wanted the running gear out of it. It was all-wheel drive, had the 4.0, and he came all the way from California. And we loaded it in the back of a big van, and he drove it back to California. Oh. Huh. Can you see if the Windstar was Nissan based for a time? Oh, it could have been. The Windstars here were, God, I thought they were all like on the, I said it a minute ago, the Taurus. I thought it was a Taurus, basically, car, something like that. What's on the 2B? 89 and 90 versions of the Chrysler minivans had the 2.5 turbo engines. Fun. A friend of mine had one of those, and he bought it. It was an old piece of junk. He got it running, and that became his truck. Didn't have any seats in the back. It had at one time, but we used to haul engines and transmissions and stuff around, and he called that thing Quasimodo. He says, "Let's take Quasimodo." I got in that one thing one time. It looked terrible. But it's in Arizona, so it wasn't rusty. It just looked terrible. I got in. It was so comfortable, and it went good. And I go, "Man, there's nothing wrong with this." He goes, "Nope."
Space Cat, welcome to the stream. My condolences. Space Cat was let go from his job after 7 years.
Oh, no. Got fired after 7 years. Okay, Space Cat, what kind of work do you do? Let's find some work for you. I hate getting fired. I've probably been fired as many times.
File for unemployment.
As many times as I've kept work. I don't even know how to file for unemployment.
File for unemployment. If they let you go, it's a layoff. Don't let them pretend it's something else.
I just always scrambled and found work. I just panicked. So many times when I was working on airplanes, things would slow down and I'd end up with no work. And you know what? I'd hit all the buy here, pay here used car lots. And it got so there were a couple of them that knew me. And I'd go in there and I'd start fixing rust. And I was up in the Northeast, so I'd fix rusty brake lines, rusty fuel lines, rusty body panels, and I was pretty good at it. Didn't make a lot of money, but you know what? It kept me going until more airplane stuff came along, and then I'd go back to the airplane stuff. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat's here. Hello, how you doing? Oh, Kevin Smith, Speed Racer was my favorite. Oh, I've thought about building something that looks like that, but I probably won't. Yeah, Mercury had a version of the Nissan van. I don't think that was a Mariner. The Mariner was like the Ford Escape. Or no, it was like the one of the Ford SUVs. What was the Mercury Nissan thing? I forget the name of that thing. Somebody will know.
Wendy's here? Where's Wendy?
And Space Cat says,
Oh,
I
Miss
haul
One Eyed Cat, welcome to the
fuel.
stream.
I
Wendy,
haul fuel.
hi.
Huh.
I haul fuel. Well, there'll be more.
So if you've been driving that
There'll
long,
be more jobs.
you've got a what, a CDL and then hazmat and all that. Jeez. Space Cat says been canned a few times. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, firing people is not fun either. But businesses do need to make decisions that are in the best interest of themselves as well. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know the situation. I'm not going to pretend to know the situation. So, but do what you need to do to be okay. Make sure you're finding.
Mexican Spec got it.
What did he get?
Villager.
Oh, Mercury Villager.
It was one of the
Nissan Quest. Yeah.
They used that.
Those are pretty good vans.
They used that name on several different vehicles, but yeah, they used it on that Nissan Quest, same car with the Mercury name on it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, it says different times, of course. If it's not just one industry, yeah. I mean, I've been fired from other things too, and it's always like I panic and find something. Always found something. So I'm trying to find part-time work and get out of my current job. Thing is, out here, everyone wants to do 8 days a week, 12-hour shifts. Well, I've done that. I was working in a nuclear power plant. That became kind of the normal thing. It was 7 days a week. 8 days a week. It was 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts.
If you work 8 days, how many days do you get off between
oh man, we used to just work. I had problems making friends with my employees. Sucks being a supervisor. Yeah, you can be friendly with employees, but you can't be close friends because you just can't. And I learned that the hard way. Dougster says, a lady I dated drove a Mazda Navajo two-door. What the heck is that? It was a two-door Explorer with different badges. I didn't even know about that thing. Wow. Have you heard of Don Dillinger? Have you? It's Ruddock. Yeah, you can't be close friends. You're right. Corinth.
The best thing is to never have any friends. That's the best way to go about it.
Darts.
Because money is much more important.
Well, Dart Swinger Pinner. No, you can't be close friends when you're supervising somebody. You just that's just really difficult. Same thing you get in a relationship with somebody,
Living and working with the same person, not that I have any experience with that, but it sounds like that would be difficult. It sounds like you would get on each other's nerves, that you would see the best and the worst of each other. And I highly don't recommend it. Never live and work with the same person. Do you agree with that statement, Updo Campo?
I don't know. You're talking about, Remember Landau tops on Mercury Montego? Landau tops. Is that like the vinyl tops, or is that the big padded things? I'm not sure what those are. I remember the name. Okay, we're going to have commercials like in 45 seconds.
Raw Dog, all we are is another brick in the wall.
Raw Dog running moonshine. That's this road that's not right where we live on, but the next over one or two where the main road is. That's what I hear the old guys here when I first got here. Yeah, that's what they did out there. Ran moonshine up and down these roads in their 48 Fords with flatheads in them, Yeah, the Mazda Tribute was the Ford Escape. You're right. I couldn't think of which one that was. John Wilburn. Good evening. Okay, commercials. So we'll just wait for the ads to finish, about another 10 seconds.
Kevin says, I work with my employees. I hate it when people say you work for me. Kevin, I like your perspective on it, but it depends. There's a lot of people who don't want to work. They just want to direct their employees to do the work for them. And I mean, it just don't pretend. It would have annoyed me if I worked for someone who pretended to say that we worked together, but I did all the work, and they just pointed. It's like, well, I work for you, not we work together. It's like I work for you. I just say it like it is. But I have worked with and respected employers who put in the time and hard work, and they just ask that their employees do the same. I've noticed though that there's a lot of I've worked for employers, right, especially owner operators, that they put in long hours and did really hard work. And they expected everybody to work as hard as them, but they were making lots and lots of money. And it's like, well, I want to go home to my family because I'm not getting wealthy doing this job. I'm just an employee, So like I'll do, an honest day's work, but like I'm not going to work like you work just because you do. Because
Okay,
but add compensation.
we got a clip that's undone.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got a broken clip.
Someone broke the wires.
So I'm gonna have to change places with Kim so she can dance, and then
I'm not a dance.
well,
I
we
don't
at
have
least
to
got to
just
turn on the
dance.
lights.
I don't even get music. It's like at some point
Kim's
they
trying to
just
fix the
expect me
Studebaker
to
lights
do things.
because we've got a Tavos and a super chat.
Thank you, Tavo, for your super chat. Is it
They're
working?
on.
It's working.
They're on.
All right, I have to imagine music.
Okay,
And relax.
so then we
if I'm
got to go
gonna
back
dance.
here. It was funny. Kim kept looking over at Buff. Yeah, but she's as much a part of this channel, and it's her channel too. I'm on the ad block. Okay, I see that. Video game
I was
commercials.
just teasing.
Carfax
And you
ad.
completely missed it.
I
You
know.
gotta move your
I
arm.
didn't completely miss it.
You
I
gotta
was
move
sitting
your
here.
arm.
I was sitting here just soaking up Granger ads.
So-
All of you with ads that you mentioned are 2 points.
My feet are cold. Why are my feet so cold?
I don't know. It's 80 degrees. No, it's 78 degrees in here.
Money, 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 money. Money. Tavo, thank you for being here. I hope you can find something to do employment-wise that is more suitable. Because working long hours and excessive days without time off that's just for the birds. Man. Kim, the internet is forever. Did you know that? Potentially. I'm not forever, though, so, it's only forever when you want it to go away. And I never claimed to be much of a dancer.
What song are you dancing to? She's just dancing. She
4 different songs. That's why I have no
rhythm.
Each of the voices in my head was singing a different song. It makes it very difficult to coordinate that effort.
Let's see. Someone broke the wires. There are only 2 of you here. Well, I know who broke them, but I think maybe it would have broken anyway, no matter who touched it.
Did it break or did it?
Well, you're the one that told me. You're the one that told me it broke. So.
Well, I don't remember what really happened.
Because you were up here and I was at the house, and you go, "Oh, it broke." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then I haven't soldered it back together yet.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure out how. I've got
There's
so much crap on this table. Yeah, we've got the table full.
That's frustrating. I'm moving some stuff off the table. Does anybody see anything interesting in the background?
Yeah, Tavo says, yeah, trying to fulfill my dream of 3 years ago, semi-retirement, to give me more time for cars and maybe YouTube. You know how I got to that point? I was working for a defense contractor. The contract ended. So
Yeah.
guess what? I'm retired.
Forced retirement.
With no retirement. So I went on Social Security. And, a few years ago it was enough to live on. So now it's it's a little tough, but we're trying to make a YouTube channel work, and we're getting a little money, but we're putting it all right back into the channel right now. So
I think this
that's
needs
good.
to be turned this way.
That way toward me more.
Well, so we can see what's going on.
Oh, okay, whatever.
I got work to do. I can't sit around all night.
Tavo says there's a solder short coming up. It could be.
Solder short? Oh, yeah, there is.
As long as you don't get a copyright strike for the dancing. That's why the music's in her head, so they don't know.
You need to scooch over this way a little
Terry
bit.
Mott, 4 voices, quadro, whatever that word is.
Quadro what?
Quadropenia. Oh.
Is it really there's a word for insanity? I don't know 4. I just said 4. I don't have the specific number of voices in my head.
Next suspect, Terry Mott. I just had to check my email. I have a client asking about a charger that I haven't gotten back to, but he is called Terry Potts.
Guys, if you've been watching what's going on in the shop, we been doing some stuff on this little mini bike, and I've had it out for a ride.
Now I see what you're trying to show, the mini bike. Yeah, she's been working on a mini bike quite a bit.
And I changed that. See the side cover's different. It had this one on there, and now it's got this one that says Simpson on it.
Oh yeah, 99 bottles of beer on the wall. That's what Terry Mott says.
Oh, thanks, Terry.
Where's the Zephyr? The Zephyr's outside because I've been driving it every day, and it's got new windshield wipers on it, so I can drive it in the rain. And it's been pretty nice because although when it gets cold it doesn't start because the choke's not done. But today it was 85 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and it just fired right up. And I've been driving around. Put a nitrous oxide bottle on your mini bike.
All right, let me talk before, because I can set this down because it's heavy. I bought a kit that, see how there's a ring gear on this, and it's got a starter. I bought a starter kit for the 212 motor, and the side cover. It comes with a special side cover that has like a pocket for the starter to go in, but I don't want any of that on that big old bike. That's a pull start bike, and it's going to stay that way. So I took this expensive kit off of it, and that's the only that's the last change. I think it's ready to just be done and used. It's got a torque converter and everything on it. It's pretty neat. And I took it out for a ride, and it's stupid fast. And so we are going to take the lessons that we've learned. We're going to take the lessons that we've learned to this little fun bike for around the property, and we're going to apply it to the racing bike that you can't see over there. And that's
what?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were putting that on another project.
What? Putting what?
The other engine.
Well, this engine here, there's another engine sitting here, and it is going to get attached to this here. And this will be our gas-powered pressure washer. That's part of what we're doing here too. Because see,
she showed me that thing, and I thought it was part of a jet engine. It looked like some component.
It is part of a jet engine.
Looks like some component goes on a jet engine.
It's going to be
it's a pressure washer.
A water pressure powered mini bike. But so what I was trying to say is, it's too muddy to bring a car in and out of the garage right now. We never got gravel.
We're downhill enough that if you pull out here after it rains, the grass going uphill,
you can't get out.
Tires just spin unless it's the Jeep will do it because it's all-wheel drive, but nothing else will do it. You just stuck down here till it
Bring
dries
my
out,
seat over here.
or
So
until you get 2 or 3 cars daisy chained together and pull it out. I've
it's
done that before.
it's not an excuse for us to lollygag. We have plenty to do. So we're just pivoting. We're making a soft pivot to mini bikes, and when it stops severe weathering, we really need to get your car in here and find out why there's no accelerator pump.
Yeah.
And then we have to.
Well, there is some accelerator pump, but it's just
not very
it's
good.
not very good. Yeah.
And then we want to figure out what is going on. The choke, we intentionally turned the choke all the way to off so that it doesn't set itself.
Because there's some pieces missing.
Well, we were in Texas at the time,
Yeah.
for one thing, but the carburetor was really malfunctioning. Yeah, and there's pieces missing. So we have to sort the choke out, which is pretty small stuff.
I want to respond to this before it goes.
Go ahead.
Rainy Day Auto says, I envy your progress on getting cars done. I have a boring office job and I've been doing a lot of OT. OT is good because then there's more money for your projects. So my Duster is still in the same spot it's been for a while. See, you envy our progress, and then Mexican Spec says I'm too slow. So, I don't know. I feel good because I'm driving the car. The heater was just a major pain. And, we're not professional mechanics that have to have it out the door for a customer in a day, So we kind of took our time at it and got it done. And we did a bunch of other stuff while we were working on it. We did the
Michigan
windows.
creep came up quick.
We did the windows. We did the trunk wouldn't stay open. I put the CB antenna on it, which is I underestimated the time on that. I thought it was going to be easy, but it wasn't. And what else did we do? We did a bunch of other crap. So anyway, it's
lots of crap.
That's all. That's those things I brought up. So anyway, yeah. The only reason we get things done is because we're not working jobs right now. If I were working I was working a job for 4 weeks. I was working from home, rewriting a manual, a service manual for an airplane, and so that brought in some money. But I had less time to spend up here. But if you got overtime, I mean, I always like to have an overtime.
Make hay while the sun is shining. It's easier said than done, but when there's opportunities to make money, you make money. But it's always the way. You either have the money and you don't have the time, or you've got the time but you can't spend the money.
That's the story of my life. Man, I'm working overtime, going. I got money for projects, and then poof, it stops. Now I got money to get me through till I find the next work, and I can't spend the money on car parts. That's just the way it is, But right now, my Social Security is enough to pay, except in the wintertime, my electric bill, because I've got electric heat. Except here, in the shop, we've got the wood burner. But, and we can buy food. It barely gets us by. And don't have a lot of extra money, but we got a lot of stuff. My whole life I bought tools, and I don't throw things away. So there's always some old piece of metal or something. Kim will take it and go, can I use this? I go, yeah. And she cuts it and makes it into something good that we'd have to go spend money on. So,
You're talking about the Festivas. The Ford Festiva? I guess Dougster says they were tanks. I don't
know much about that car.
People made fun of those things, didn't they? Little bitty economy car. I guess Ford made them right. They stuck around. And nothing is immune to Michigan rust, so it's not like you can say it was a bad car.
Kevin Smith says we won't need heat now anyway. You know what? This time of year, I'll run the AC, the air conditioning in the house, and we've got an air conditioner here. And the air conditioner here knocks the humidity down in the shop. It doesn't really cool the shop off, but it's really more comfortable in here with the humidity down. But my electric bill during the summer is this big compared to the winter. That heat in the house wow, that's expensive.
Running the heat's expensive.
It's expensive compared to air conditioning. Air conditioning, we run it enough to knock the humidity down, which makes it comfortable. And yeah, it doesn't cost me a lot. Dean Stevens is better with the Yamaha V6 in the back. Max Inspect Festiva SHO. Really?
Patrick Sullivan, conundrum of life. Yeah. It's like everybody experiences it. It's just the way. It's the way she goes, as they say. I want to thank everybody for being here, for stopping in, hanging out, making comments. You guys are great. Everybody gets a point. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you get a point. Yeah, thanks for coming in, sharing a Friday night with us. We don't go out, we don't go clubbing or anything like that. We're out in the shop.
Clubbing. You know how many times you and I have gone out in the evening to do something? I know how many times.
Really?
2.
Well, that's not true. It's more than 2.
No, the only times we went out
alone.
Go
out with family or friends.
The only times we've been out
that.
alone, we went to that bar that night where they were doing some kind
of Riverside. They were doing some kind of art.
They were doing artwork, and they had a guy up there that was directing the art, and they were all drawing this stuff, and we drank soft drinks and had a burger, and it was a very quiet bar. it was a really relaxing place. And then we went to that place with your friends, people she knows, and none of us drinking alcohol, but it was a bar with karaoke, and we sat there and drank soft drinks and orange juice and stuff, and they had some food there that was like some kind of a potluck thing, and we had some of the food. Those are the 2 times we've been out. Other than with family, yeah, we go out a couple of times and have.
We do enough stuff, but this is our big night.
We do
big night out is working in the shop on a Friday. And sometimes we stream, other times we do recording. But
which reminds me.
What's that?
We're gonna have to do a couple shorts tonight.
Yeah.
I'm out of shorts. No,
you're not wearing any shorts.
Not that kind of shorts.
Well, we have some works to do, so.
Yeah.
Clubbing, like what the cavemen did. Potentially, Dean, yeah.
Clubbing.
Whatever you enjoy doing on a Friday night is fine.
It's like the old joke. I killed a bear once with a club. There were 60 of us in the club,
I'm supposed to be digging trenches to lay drainage pipe, so when the rain does eventually come, my backyard doesn't flood out again. Oh, Tavo, that sounds like a lot of hard work. Digging ditches is. Whew.
Tavo, I don't know you in person, but I've looked at what you do, watch your videos, look at your shop and everything, and you've got you're kind of out there, you're doing a lot of stuff by yourself. What you do is really interesting, and set the camera up, just go after it, post it.
You know how it
is. I'd be watching it.
Everything is more work if you have to set the camera.
Well, yeah, but I'm learning. What I'm learning is, instead of spending 8 or 10 or 12 hours editing, just try it out.
Set it up and take it all.
Take it and put up what you got.
It's not easy.
No, it's not easy, but you learn to do it, and you're making a mess out of trying to make it
I'm not making a mess.
You're trying to clean, and you're making a mess. You move the mess from over there to over here.
There's a lot of mess.
Let's see here. Rainy Day Auto. I think you're near me, if I remember right, Tim. Hey, you're both in Colorado, I think. Let's see, it's been cold. Tuesday is going back in the 70s for next week. Yeah, up there in the Rockies, you guys got it. Got the weather that stays cold for a while. Tavo, everything here gets done by the same one person. Yep.
That's how it goes. It goes slow when you're like that, huh?
Old McDonald says using a club to get a woman will save dollars on drinks to get the same result. A passed out woman. Dean Stevenson, laying pipe. Is that a code? Is that code? Laying pipe.
Yeah, Tavo has to do a lot of laying pipe.
Code. It's one thing I like about Tennessee. There's codes, but they're more like common sense codes instead of annoying codes. Like this. When the guy,
you mean codes?
codes, like when I had the power turned off in this shop for like a year. Well, then they wouldn't turn the power on until it was inspected. And this old guy comes out, and he looks at it, he goes, that's not up to the current code. He goes, when was this building built? And I said, it was built in '06. He goes, oh, well, it was up to code in '06. He goes, I'm just going to grandfather it in. I said, okay. And then he says, I've got to report that online. Go in there in 2 days, it'll be up, and you can get your power turned on. And I did, and they turned it on. If I'd been in California, it would have been 6 months of paperwork, and they never would have turned it on. You know, it was just a whole lot different thing. You know, it was just.
It seems like they're just intentionally want people to not do this.
Oh, it's just harassment. Yeah, I'm
Muscle.
I got really tired of it. California, like I had shops there, and it seemed like at least once a week somebody walking in there with a clipboard that was
trying to keep you from getting anything done.
Yeah, wanting me to fill out papers and pay a fee for some kind of a permit I needed. I remember I had a wastewater discharge permit I had to do. It's like, oh no, I got this stack of paperwork like this to fill out, and I'm looking at it, just mind-boggling. And it had in there, it said, if you have trouble, call us, and we'll have somebody assist you with it. So I thought, should I do that? So I called. Young woman came out, probably pretty fresh out of college. She came out, she looked at it, she says, well, most of this doesn't apply to you. She said, do you have a bathroom in here? And I said, yeah. She goes, can I see it? So I walked back there to the bathroom, opened the door. She looks in there and she goes, how many times a day do you flush the toilet? I said, I don't know. Every time I use the bathroom. She goes, well, how many times do you think? I said, I don't know. Once an hour. Eight times a day. And she filled that in. She goes, do you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom? I said, yeah. 8 times I run the water in there. She goes, that'll be it. It'll be $300. So I wrote her a check for $300, and I got my wastewater discharge permit. What a bunch of nonsense. Everybody in that city had to fill one of those out. And I know what happened. All those checks got cashed, and they put that paperwork in some filing cabinet somewhere, never to be looked at again. You know, it's like, yeah, whatever.
$300 a person. That's a lot.
There's a filing fee. A filing fee.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, Mexican Spec says never call the city for help. That was like
We're from the government. We're here to help.
I honestly didn't know what to do with that pile of paper, and actually I'm glad I did call because she got me through it quickly. I would have had to pay the $300 either way if I could even figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah, the government is here to help. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we're here to help. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it.
Old McDonald says the ice storm was very bad. People still without power. Lots and lots of trees, branches, poles, power lines on the ground everywhere. That's not good. Yeah, we had south of here. Well, I was watching, what's his name? Max Velocity, who's got millions of subscribers, and he covers all the storms as they're going. And they had a tornado in southern, just about directly south of us in Tennessee, right across the border from Alabama or Mississippi, one or the other. And it flattened a small town down there, and they had debris up to 33,000 feet. Holy crap. But we didn't get that. Okay, ads. 10 seconds till the ads.
Ads? I haven't heard anybody talk about their ads yet tonight.
Yeah, I gave everybody points. You weren't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention. Heaven forbid I got any work done.
Terry Mott, I just had to replace my city garbage can. $65. Dean Stevenson, a royal flush. Yeah, no kidding. Did you, Mexican Spec, did you hear what TK reported on his channel? The average salary for a carb employee in California is $14,000 per month. Some make less, but some make much more. Make your life difficult. I know a guy that worked for carb. he's telling me how difficult his job was. And one day I rode around with him, and he went around. He goes, I have to take these readings from these. There were 4 places that had some kind of sampler things. And he went in there and he did something and he clicked it and he goes, okay, I got that one done. I said, I thought you had to take readings. He goes, yeah, I just have to make sure the computer sends them. And we did that in 4 places. And that was his day. I went, that's it? Well, yeah, we had to go to 4 places. And I bet he makes a lot of money too. He's retired. He probably passed away by now. He's quite a bit older than me. Kevin Smith, golden shower.
Yes, people don't know what real work is.
Uh,
the real work is getting that job.
A tire rack ad. 2 points. Buddy Carfano. Rod, are you a troublemaker, or did that really happen? Gavin Newsom, ad for governor of California. For some reason, I have a hard time believing that ad was there, but maybe it was.
That was your ad. You get 2 points. It's on your honor.
This is creeping into politics. Let's creep back out. Yeah. Can't imagine anybody making 280,000 pesos per month.
I can't.
God, what's the most I ever made per month at a job was quite a bit, but it wasn't that much. What did they say? 14,000 per month? No. I made about half that on one job for a while, but it wasn't very long. Patrick Sullivan, I'm so burned on political noise. Yeah, I'm getting it in YouTube. I'm getting like everybody in this extreme, and I just ignore all of them. But I hear enough of it.
They're all just desperate to get clicks. That's what it ends up being. Nobody even cares that much. They're just trying to get clicks. Just like it's Scotty Kilmer and these other guys. They're whether you like it or not, they're just desperate to get people to click them.
O'Reilly, but One-Eyed Cat says, O'Reilly, 2 more points and counting. I need a bigger piggy bank.
Woohoo!
Dean Stevens says, oops. Come on. I don't know.
Pokemon?
Oh, Kevin Smith says, does YouTube pay decent? Here's how they pay. They pay on the number of views, and we're getting to the point where we get some of our videos got like $4. Some of them like 60 cents. I don't know. At the end of the month, the super chats and everything, you get like $100, maybe a little less. But you know what? We're putting it all back in. And what happens is I know people that are doing really well. You know, yeah. I've seen people that make thousands and thousands and thousands, yeah, but they're not little channels. They got a lot of
they've
subs.
Invested many years.
They've invested 5, 6, 7 years.
Some of them were in showbiz or in car business. You know, they were doing something before.
I'll tell you who. Uncle Tony, UTG. You know, he was a magazine writer. He owned a couple of magazines. He was well known in the drag racing business, and he was a well-known writer.
And then he was selling car parts.
He was selling car parts on
the internet.
What was it? A-Bodies Only or something. And then he started a YouTube channel. What, 6 or 7 years ago? Yeah, I mean, he
probably didn't make any money for several years at least.
They earn a living off that. And he puts out a video every day, and he does a live twice a week. Well,
so for a while he did. He doesn't.
I think he's putting out a video probably.
He does 2 lives a week now.
Yeah, 2 lives a week, and I bet he puts out a video 6 days out of 7. And
so all you need to do is be a celebrity, have lots and lots of drag race and car stories. Decades. Since you were a teenager, you have to be working continuously in a very niche but popular market. And
Well, but Tony and his wife, that's their job, and they treat it like a job. And they rent a shop that, that's a business expense, but that's their business.
I think they're starting to retire.
And they put in a lot of work. Yeah. You know, it's not like, when you do a 30-minute video, it isn't 30 minutes work. It's a lot of work.
Dean says I'm solely responsible for Scotty's riches. I claim them. Pretty randomly you found Uncle Tony. That's the thing, though. It wasn't random. Tony was out there every day making content. You couldn't miss him. And it is that much work. You have to be out there constantly.
And that's the other thing. Tony was, a lot of people, I picked him up randomly. I was looking for somebody else, and he popped up. In fact, I saw his picture. I thought he was somebody else, and I started watching him. I went, hey, I like listening to this guy. And I just kept watching him. I had no idea who Tony DeFeo was. He was not somebody, I never followed anything in his magazines. They were East Coast magazines. I was a West Coast guy, so I didn't really see him much. I didn't follow drag racing at all, so I really didn't know who he was. But I started watching his videos, and they were pretty good. And then one night, he had a get-together at the gas station. I went down there and met him. And then I was the only one that showed up that night. So he kept saying, hey, come back, come back, come back. And I hung out with him like a year and a half until I had to go back to work. But, he and I became pretty good friends. Well, their family and I became really good friends, So I know the work they put in,
So, yeah, it ain't easy. And there's a lot of people who are trying to be YouTube stars. Some of them will be successful, but most of them will not. And I want to see people be successful. The thing of it is, if you put in the work, you probably have some success. We're not having great success, but we'd be out here working anyways.
Johnny C., everyone knows Scotty's titles are meaningless, huh? But he's always there if you're lonely 2 or 3 times a day. What's he got? He's creeping up like on 8 million subs.
He's lonely. He's always there if you're lonely.
Oh, yeah.
That's horrible, but
Hey, Hockey 97. Hello, Kim and Buff. Is there any video out there that shows how I can remove the vacuum secondary? I want to upgrade the spring in it, but having trouble. I'll tell you where you can go to ask that question is on Wednesday nights, the AHRA video or live video on what is it? 7 o'clock Central Time, anyway, whatever time that is for you, is
the American Hot Rod.
Yeah, it's American Hot Rod Association. It's Dallas Brown and Shane Polito, and they answer tech questions. They're really good at that. And the other thing is Tony UTG does a tech thing on Thursday nights.
I'm sure there is videos on how to do that, though.
A rainy day auto, do they tax your income? No. They send you a 1099, which they report to the IRS, so you're responsible for your own taxes. And I don't know what they do in other countries. I'm sure whatever the laws are there, they do that. But no, you get a 1099 just like any other casual labor where you have to report it. And if you don't report it, my guess is the IRS knows that you didn't report it. One-eyed cat, if it wasn't for UTG, I would invent Wilbur. And this Snowball, no name national. You're right, UTG is what turned me on to No Name Nationals, and that's where I met John Wilburn. Was at Tony's house one night. Well, no, I met him at a drag race. He was hanging out with Tony, and so was I. And we worked on his car together. And then he was at Tony's house one night, and I was there with John, so... Scotty blames Mexico for building bad cars. I have no use for him. Yeah, he's just mouthy. Vintage Adventure drives. Hey, all, I'm here. The only reason I knew of Buff Del Campo is because of UTG. Buff's name stuck in my head for the past few years. And you know why I found you is because you're driving around in a Pinto wagon, and anybody who uses a Pinto wagon for a shop truck's got to be good. Oh, let's see here. This is flowing by pretty fast. I can't keep up with it.
Tony's given us a shout out quite a few times, and John Wilburn has as well.
Yep.
And we do really well because they have been supportive to us.
They
don't get along, and that's like there's no benefit for us to take a side.
Hey, I had to walk away, and I had the phone in my pocket trying to listen to John on the way up here to the shop. And did you make your 500? It says here vintage 500. I guess maybe you did. Did you make it? I'm assuming you did, but I didn't see it happen. Yeah, Dean Stevenson, roll up your windows. Kim, I got something itching back. You're driving me nuts. It's like something bit me on the back of the neck. I gotta leave it alone.
What bit you on the?
I don't know. My neck is itching. I gotta stop scratching.
How's your finger feel?
Oh, my finger's still swollen, but it's better. Oh, it's still sore. It's been 5 days. That was a nasty stench.
Try to teach him. Just don't stick your finger randomly in holes, and he just.
Old McDonald on the back here somewhere.
Yeah,
just
you got
itches.
yourself a couple holes ripped open in your neck.
Oh, great. Old McDonald says, yes, I always thought Buff was Tony's sidekick in the gas station parking lot. Yep, that's where I met him. Gas station parking lot.
You're the Ed McMahon.
Yeah, that's what I was, as Ed McMahon for a while. But then he didn't like that shtick either. He did it first, but then he decided he didn't like it so much. Because I'd go, here's Tony. And they decided they didn't like that. Kim's picking at whatever I had. Listo Saber. Somebody said if Scotty's hands were tied down, he wouldn't be able to talk yet. Vintage says, Dean Stevenson, thanks, man. I figured I'd pull the hair out for the live. I'll check that intro. What'd you do, Kim? Dr. Kim back there working on my...
Picking at your head.
Tim says, I've enjoyed watching Dulcich. Glad he's doing YouTube now. I have old Mopar mags. When I go back and look, all good articles were from him, from 15 to 20 years ago. Let's see, Dean, I found him. Oh, there's something flying around in here. I bet it got me.
Nah, you got.
Let's see, Mexicans. Okay, wait, I'm missing stuff here. Dean, I found him when researching the 13-degree timing pump 52, whatever all this is. Belting the air pump AC. Mexican Spec says, Buff promoted my Instagram page in those Tony lives. He turned to Tony and asked if he'd seen my page. Tony said no, getting on to another subject. But you know what? Now he's paying attention to you, and now you're a mod for him. So maybe it worked out. You know, that's a good place to be a mod. Let's see. Yeah, he's got over 400,000 subs. I wish I had half that many. I like Dulcich. He reminds me a lot of my car friends from way back. That's all of says that. Dean, then I saw Stockman and Revan Even and Tony DeFeo on YouTube in 2019. 2019 is when I think I was there doing lives with him. Just we two, some, I don't know. Tavo, yeah, and I found Buff as a fellow commenter on UTG Live. Popped over to have a look. Yeah, and you know what? I really didn't take advantage of that. I was just enjoying the time down there. I didn't have I didn't have a channel yet.
You didn't have a Kim to do all this.
And then I went back to work for a month, and I told him I was going to be gone for a month, and he wasn't too happy about it. And then it turned into 2 years because it turned into a big old project. And by the time I got back to Tony, he was doing something else, and I was not. You know, I wasn't part of it anymore. And then I met Kim and started making something out of this channel, and Kim's really helped, you know. She's as much as this channel as I am. I mean, her name's on it, everything. We're both Buff Del Campo channel. I made my 500 right at the end of the live, says Vintage. You missed a bass solo. Yes, Buff, he made the 500, then pulled out his bass and his hair. Oh, cool. I ended up shutting it off because we were starting to go live here, and I just had to shut it off. Mexican Spec says, Vintage. My buddy went to a comedy show with his friend. That guy had long hair. The hair was almost as big as the bass solo. A comedian saw him and said, guy with long hair is a musician. Are you a musician? The guy said no. Full audience laughed hard. Kevin Smith, just as long as it's not a tick, don't want Lyme's disease. Oh, man, yeah. We've had ticks here. I had one that I had to go to the doctor on because it was so bad last year. Who's that guy? Rainy Day Auto. Who was the guy who was from South Texas and sold coffee and has a channel as well? Sold coffee. What happened to JB? JB used to come in here all the time.
Just drive it with It's the Just Tribe channel.
Dennis Collins Coffee Walk? I don't know. John Smith says that.
It might be that.
Dean Stevens, I'm a Fox guy. Buff and Kiborgini. I talk Danny Boyd code. I'm missing a few. I'm sorry I'm missing some of the chats because it's going faster than I can, because I don't read fast. Kevin Smith, Dean, that's what I'll blame my bald head on. You know, I met people that wear hats all the time, and one day they pull their hat off and there's no hair, and it's like, huh? And then me, well, my hair doesn't look long right now because Kim cut it, but man, my brother's a year younger than me, and he's been almost bald most of his life. So I got the hair, but it turned gray, and he's been doing the comb over since he's been like 18 years old. And I'm really happy I have the hair, although it gets long and scraggly, and I got to cut it, you know. So, let's see. Tony's lives have served their purpose. Headboard disease. Rainy day. If it weren't for UTG, I wouldn't have a shed full of parts. I used to buy a lot of them from him. For A Bodies Only. Oh, so you've known him for a long time. He always priced stuff very fair. Yeah, he's priced stuff very fair. He's given me stuff that I didn't even ask for. Here, you want this? Take it.
I think that whole Valiant was just spare parts.
That Valiant, he gave me a lot of spare parts, and that
was all the worst stuff.
It was bad stuff, but we made good stuff out of it.
It was all the stuff that wasn't good enough to really sell.
And I got a great running car now because of that. In fact, I got to start driving that. That's another one. Well, we'll probably bring that in here. Luis, Miguel, Suarez, Barrios. Sorry I'm late. Doesn't matter. Stop in.
Welcome.
Go away whenever you want. Just stop in and hang out for a while. It's okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, casual. It's casual. It's like when you go to the bar. That maybe most people don't understand. But you go when you go, and when you're tired or had your fill, you take off.
Johnny C says 2 years was a long wait. Huh? I remember that. People would always ask about you. You know, I was up in Maryland, and I had really, really slow, extremely slow internet up there. And a lot of times I'd get it on my phone. Then my phone would run out of data, you know, and I was struggling to watch Tony up there, but I watched it some. But then, you know, it was, what do you do, Sunday night? So I had to be to work early Monday morning. And I was in different time zones, so yeah, I couldn't always watch it. UTG said Buff was tied up with the EAP object, so he was way busy. I'm glad UTG told the truth. You know what happened? I was supposed to work on I don't remember what I even was supposed to do. I got sucked into something, and then I ended up redesigning a whole back of an airplane and re-engineering, and just huge project. And then a couple of new design wings for an airplane, and then going off to Oregon for flight testing, and oh my god, oh no, then going to Ohio to the company that built the wings, and then off to Oregon for flight testing. It's just like, yeah, what do they call that? Mission creep.
Yep, that's the way it always goes.
But I made good money for a couple of years, you know. Next inspect, I had thick hair all my life. My son has hopes he will keep his. I think it jumps a generation, though. Sucks for him. Well, with me and my brother, my father's side of the family had hair. In fact, my father lived to be 91, and he had some gray in his hair, but it was still, a lot of it was dark. My mother's side of the family, her father didn't have any hair, and my brother kind of picked that up, I guess. Let's see here. Vintage says, makes expect me barriga es muy grande. I don't know what that means.
Big.
Yeah, muy grande. I know what that means. I don't know what the rest of it means. Speak Russian so I can understand.
Who's talking?
Vintage. Barriga. Mi barriga es muy grande. Como. Oh, there's a word I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to translate for me.
Doesn't Mexican speak some Mexican?
Doesn't Mexican speak? Doesn't Mexican speak some Mexican? Yeah, he speaks Mexican Spanish. Rainy Day Auto. You're right, Kim. 7. Stephen Hotz just
Yes,
drive in.
Steve,
Yeah.
Steven.
Have not seen him around for a long time.
He had some stuff up earlier in the winter.
But I was missing in action for a time too.
He was doing some stuff.
Mexican Spec says, "Lo mío también, pero no por la cerveza." I don't know. I guess I could try to translate that, but I don't want to look like a fool. They say baldness comes from the mother's side. It did with my brother. I remember my grandfather on my mother's side he had a little bit of wispy hair around just above his ears. I wish I would have known him better. He was back east, and he was a car dealer back in the 20s and 30s. And he was a small car dealer in New York City when they used to be kind of like neighborhood dealerships. And he was a Chevy Grand Page dealer. And like he was the mechanic, he was the salesman, he was the businessman. He had one part-time guy that came in that kind of helped detail cars. Man, would he be a fun guy to talk to? But he died when I was young, and he was back east, and I was in California. Really never got to talk to him much. It's kind of sad, because he probably would have been full of a lot of good stories. They're talking about Mexican Spec says, "I've taken in a lot of street dogs. They are so smart, thankfully. Thankful to have food. They protect you with their lives." Yeah. Finish says, "I was Duolingo. I was trying to impress a girl. I got bored, but I know a few funny terms." It's always good to Mexican Spec says, "It's always good to know that how that word barriga is from a certain part of the country. We say panza here. Huh. Gonna have to. Oh, barriga is stomach. Oh, Mexican Spec says, "No, I speak Sinaloan," which is the area of Mexico he's from. It's like us. We don't speak Tennessee real well. I speak like uh, military English. It's where you learn like a conglomeration of every part of the country because they've all ended up in the military. I picked up probably part of all of it. Vintage says, "I said my stomach is very big. I ate too much." Sprechen Sie. Is that something Tavo, something Deutsch, something about Sprechen Sie? Does he speak German, I guess? Oh, thanks. Louis says, "Okay, coming up on ads again in 12 seconds. So we've got that. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat here as much as I can because I'm behind." Rainy Day says, "I've had people come to me speaking Spanish because they thought because I thought I'm a Mexican, but I'm East Indian." Okay, maybe you've been able to punch out of the ads. Terry Mott, "My Mexican friends don't know any Spanish." And I can kind of understand what's going on with Spanish from people that are from Mexico. From Puerto Rico, I have a little more trouble. And from Spain, I can't understand a word they're saying. It just sounds different to me. But I know people from Puerto Rico real well. I've got some Puerto Rican friends, and they don't have any trouble uh, speaking Spanish with people from Spain. But it's probably like an American speaking to somebody from the UK or from South Africa or something. And like Australia and New Zealand, I've got friends from Australia and New Zealand. No problem trying to understand that. England, not really either, but South Africa, I have a little trouble. Depends on where in South Africa they're from, I guess. Dean Stevens, this was not a political discussion. Nope. My wife said we speak strong here, kind of loud. In other places, they think we're yelling at them. They think we are aggressive in this area. Huh.
Stop being so aggressive, darn it.
Dean Stevens is talking about amendments to the Constitution. Okay. Yes, I remember that amendment. I speak Spanish. I is I am. I'm is I am.
I gotta cut this. It's gonna be loud.
Dean Stevens, it's okay to tax foreigners, though. Every country taxes foreigners. Every country taxes foreigners. Vintage says, Granger ad. I speak great Oklahoman. That would be good. Granger ad, 2 points.
Thank you for calling out your ad.
Mexican Spec says, English is my first language, and people say I speak it well. Kevin Smith said, I hate commercials. You have no clue what it was for.
Sorry, I'm done.
I don't know. They're all like in some other language land here. I'm like, I'm going to just skip over it. I don't understand. Mexican Spec says in Mexico City, I just nodded my head a lot. They talk way too fast. That's how I feel about. Have you ever noticed that with people from Puerto Rico? They speak. It seems to me like they speak fast. Mexican Spec, the Valiant Princess. I don't know. Oh, Terry Mott says just like Southern accent or Louisiana. Say what? Southern accent. If you're in like Southeast Texas, it sounds a whole lot different as you go across the South. Louisiana sounds different. Mississippi sounds different. Alabama, Georgia sounds different. Florida sounds like you're in New York again, because Florida is mostly people from New York and Ohio and the Northeast. And Tennessee sounds different to me. It's the Southern accents. I mean, if you're from the South, you notice where people are from in the South by their accent. They're not all the same. Just going across Texas, it sounds different. Dean Stevenson, the place Columbus was trying to find. Yeah, we celebrate him every year, and he was 13,000 miles off course. I think I just give him a hard time about that. Olive says they do say the same about Boston sometimes, but I don't have the extra language processing to do in my head for that. Carlos says that those Kiwis that baffle me. Louis says I love TV commercials. Tim says Subaru ad.
The love makes Subaru. I'm not sure how it does it, but it does.
New dog shit. Mexican Spec said he had trouble a few years ago with Oklahoma DMV. I told him my experiences, and he appreciated it. He knows who I am by name. Mike N's here, do we? Oh, talking about, Louisiana. Yeah, Louisiana, there's like a lot of different accents in Louisiana. And they all know the different accent. When I have a friend that's in Louisiana, and he always say, oh, yeah, that's they know what they're called, so I don't know what they all are. Rainy Day Auto, I speak rural Colorado English. I'm not sure what that is. To me, rural Colorado English sounds like everywhere else in the West. Vintage says I dated a girl from Alabama. I got a lot of laughs out of her accent. Really. Mike N showing pictures of alligators. What's alligators for? I don't know. Dean Stevenson, I would remind you, Buckdale Campo, you said Zed. What's wrong with Zed? See, Canadians say Zed.
Oh, every, never gonna live it down now.
Every country,
the internet's forever.
Every country that speaks English says Zed, except the United States. So I think it sounds pretty good. How about who's that guy with the engine build channel? Has a really strong southern twang. Oh, the guy that does the cams. Oh man, that guy's got an accent, doesn't he? I can't think of his name.
Is that Howard's cams?
Howard's Caps?
No.
No. Every time I hear Cajuns talk, I think crawfish is making noises. Cajuns, that's one of the accents from Louisiana. And there's other ones too. I stopped watching Randy after he screwed Beard Mike. I'm not sure what that's about. Should have asked her where she was in the pronunciation taught class. I'm trying to keep up with that. I'm sorry I'm missing some of you. Tim says, I understand Kim's Pittsburgh accent. Rainy day, my friend taught me a few Spanish cuss words, but he didn't tell me they're cuss words until I used them in Walmart. Had some people look at me weird. You know, I was taking Russian, and somebody asked the Russian teacher about foul language, and she goes, I learned Russian at home from my parents, but they lived in Quebec. And then, so when she went to school, she learned French, but she only learned Russian from her parents. And she goes, I really didn't learn any of that stuff. And then she learned Arabic, and then she learned English when she moved to the U.S. So she spoke 4 languages quite well. And she spoke English really without an accent. She sounded like she was from California. And but she spoke all 4 languages very well. But no cuss words. Expects that was between them. I watched both. He did the same with TK, but again, that's between them. There are 3 sides of the story. His, and the truth.
Yeah.
Vintage. He's okay. She was okay for her early schooling. Her accent was a mix of Oklahoma and Alabama with a strong southern twang. Dean Stevens at the alligator in Woody Woodpecker, or Woody Woodpeckerwood, circa 1950, Florida accent. I don't know what this is all about. Oh, Luis. Is Luis taking off? Because Mexican Spec is saying Buenas noches. Somebody else later, Luis. Okay, later. I'm sorry I missed it. Tavo, I was born in southeast London. It's fun having a full Cockney slang conversation. Mike N, Cajun, Creole, New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans, yeah, North Louisiana, speaking totally different. And that's what, when I was sitting there with my friends in Eunice, Louisiana, you'd hear all these different accents on TV, like car dealers and whoever was doing the commercials, and they'd point it right out to me, and I got some of them I had really hard time understanding. Kevin Smith, my opinion.
I'll be right back.
Mexican Spec says, I don't hear an accent when Kim talks. Neither do I. And I think a lot of it, the accents, is because I spent so much time in the military and then later as a defense contractor, worked with the military, probably 30 years of my life, military and working with people from the military, that, everybody's, very different accents in the military. So I don't even hear it. Ever heard Bert Kreischer's Russian story, The Machine? No. Carfano. Amen. I don't know what that is, but Carfano. Alphabet is XYZ, not XYZ. No, I don't know what to do about this. I got to find a name for that. I got to find a name for that car so I don't have to use Z or Z. And I don't really like the name it has that the guy gave it that owned it before me. So I don't know. Tim says I didn't learn the Russian cuss words till after my divorce. See, yeah, I don't really know any Russian cuss words. I probably do, but not. I'd have to think about it because I don't use that stuff. I would never use that in a language that I don't understand well. You know, my Russian's pretty limited. If I'm in Russia, which I haven't been there in over 20 years, uh, I felt like I could get around. I could end up on the right train. I'd get in the right airplane. I could try to stay out of trouble with the police. I could buy things I needed, but I couldn't sit there and have a conversation with somebody. You know, uh, Olive says I liked my Russian teacher in college. She was a real character. I didn't know you took Russian. Terry Mott, Luis left to catch some Zeds. Off the dreamland I go. Maybe I can learn another language in my sleep. Oh God, I used to try to do that.
It's a little more complicated.
Space Cat, funny, but I've heard people say that California has an accent. In my experience, it lacks an accent. Well, you know why you say it lacks an accent is because California is what I call TV language. Whatever they spoke in all the TV shows, that's what you hear in most of California, except like the Valley Girl kind of talk and East LA maybe. But everything from Arizona, Southern California, Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, to me, it all sounds the same. Same Utah. That whole section of the country pretty much sounds the same to me.
Yeah.
Colorado.
You're conditioned to it.
Wyoming. It all sounds about the same to me. When I travel east of there, I get into the Midwest, I can pick out like South Dakota, Minnesota. Dakota. Yeah, all these. I can pick that up pretty quickly. But it's because I lived there, you know.
Minnesota, soda.
Let's see. Kevin Smith says something here. It means kiss me, I'm Polish. They say people have woke up from a long-term coma and speak different language fluently. Wow.
Isn't that wild? How does that even happen?
Mexican spec. Kevin Smith, I sent Mike some turn signals for his Ford Ranger. He didn't say anything in the video about it. I thought he would. Huh. Yeah, when I get stuff from you, Mexican spec, I talk it up because it's good stuff. It's stuff I probably couldn't get here, you know. And you send good stuff to me.
Well, that's the way people are. They get what they want.
Tabo, we sometimes find it amusing when people talk of the Australian accent. Like the U.S., we sometimes ask, what part of Australia? I bet. Because I see the Australian accent, to me, I've heard you speak, Tabo, so I know what that is. And there was a guy I worked with out at the test site that, they would have hired him full time, but he couldn't get he tried to get American green card and couldn't get it. So he worked with us sometimes when it was stuff that we were working with Australia. But he was a pilot, pretty good guy, and so his Australian accent, I understood that, but I don't know if I could pick out one part of Australia from another.
I feel like I'm in India working. All I need
is
sandals.
All you need is sandals?
Yeah, and then I can be crouched down on the floor working on machines.
Also,
dirty old
machines.
Yeah,
I did. One of my best friends got out of there like in 1980, but they took me in when I was a runaway, so I thought I should learn. Dupa's buttocks Polish, okay. Best thing in Moscow was the subway terminals. Some are just incredible. Same thing, St. Petersburg, same thing. The metro, the subway there was amazing stuff. Yeah, Space Cat says Valley Girls, LOL. Man, I'm sorry. It's good. I'm missing some of the chat. Is it getting cooler in here? I'm starting to feel a little bit cool. Let's not bring up the Valley Girl stuff again. That came out in '83 when I was in my junior year in high school. The girls were all over that. Lots of eye rolling at the time. Oh, is it raining? Oh, what happened to my sweatshirt?
Which one?
The one that was on the back of this chair.
It's on the back of your chair.
Oh, we switched chairs. We moved the chair. It wasn't on the back of that chair. It was on the back of this chair. I may put on my sweatshirt because I'm starting
There's
to get a
our
little cool.
pressure washer, people. We're gonna have to make a little trailer for it to mount it on so it can be.
Grease Belly says the only thing I know about Russian is that the dressing is pretty good on a Reuben sandwich. Yeah, you know, some people say that's Russian dressing, and some people say that's Thousand Island dressing. I think it's more Thousand Island, but there might be more than one kind of Russian dressing. Man, when I was in the Air Force, they had big salad bars in the chow halls, and it was Cold War time, you know. And we had all these different kinds of dressing, and one of them always said Russian dressing. And one day I went in there, and they peeled the thing off that said Russian dressing, and in Dymo tape they it said Catalina dressing. They changed the name to Catalina dressing because they didn't want to have Russian dressing in the chow hall. I thought it was funny. Gag me with a spoon. Yeah, right. That's what you gag. My former wife, like for my son, the first former wife, she used to say that all the time. Gag me with a spoon. Whatever the hell that means.
It's you know like.
She used to say that all the time.
He was just echoing something she heard. It's pretty funny.
Stray Bullet, remember those fluffy skirts they used to wear? How I speak a few phrases of Croatian, really, including some naughty words learned from previous workmates.
Scooch over that way, just.
You want me to scooch up? Well, be sure to read my comments silently before reading them out loud. Kevin Smith says that.
Oh no, what's there? You want a spider?
Nose itches.
Here, I got a spider.
It's like down
You guys see
inside
the spider?
It's like, what are you doing?
Where'd he go? There he is.
Oh, get that
See
thing.
the spider?
Why? Yeah, but he'll jump on me. What are you doing? Why are you messing with the? Oh yeah, there. Put him down. Mike Murphy, what's up, Kim and Buff? I don't know. Kim's working on her mini bike or doing something. I don't know. And I'm sitting here trying to keep up with the chat. And it's moving pretty fast. Johnny C. Valley Girl speak. Yeah.
This high quality replacement motor.
Oh, that's a rusty mess. Where did you get that? Did you dig that? Is that?
Switch over just a little bit.
What are you now, an archaeologist?
I want them to be able to see.
What did you get? What mud did you dig that out?
It was under the back porch. It's been under the back porch for 2.5 years, laying in the mud.
Why?
It's in good shape. That should clean right up. Oh yeah, it's not locked up. It'll be fine.
I should have walked to take a break before the rain started. Damn it. A wolf spider. Okay, Kim, I got to get up for a minute.
A woke spider?
Wolf, not woke.
Damn.
I gotta change my position. And that's not a political statement.
Grease Belly Garage just turned down a Rabbit diesel 2 weeks ago. I owned one of them Rabbit diesels. It wasn't a bad car.
You could have de-dieseled it.
No, the diesels are good engines.
I don't know what is about Rabbit diesels. The exhaust stinks on those things.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't smell like diesel. It's like diesel from a big rig. It actually smells kind of good. Or a bus. I don't mind it. The Rapids, make my eyes water.
That's because they're so efficient. That's an extra efficiency.
Why did it make my eyes water? Why did it stink so bad?
Oh, because that's because it's good.
Yeah.
Makes it good. You just don't appreciate good.
Kim, you're gonna have to go over the chat. Well, I take a walk before it gets any more rainy. It's it meaning whatever it is outside is starting to get wet. I'll be back.
Looks like no. I already have the pressure washer engine is hook it up. It's ready to go. It's on there. I need to make a little push cart because I don't have to pick that thing up. It's sick. This little thing is heavy enough that I don't want to be picking it up extra if I don't have to. And then I remember this motor. This motor is one of those 198cc motors that comes off of that came off that mini bike, that orange mini bike that I had here a few minutes ago. 4-speed or 5-speed diesel Rabbit. Oh, I think they're 4 speeds. I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna have to read your comments because that's my job. Let's see. Grease Belly had plenty of regular air-cooled Beetles. Yeah, those were all rusted out. I had a couple when I was young, but they were just couldn't maintain them because they were falling apart too fast. I have a friend with 9 different TDI 1.9 engines in 9 different cars, and none of them run right. Boy, that sounds a lot like, well, every engine that we have here is different, so Buff's got to water. Oh, the gardens get watered plenty. I like how you really know a wide range of cars, Mexican. He does. He knows a lot. I have a 99 VW Beetle diesel. Does about 45. That's pretty good, Tim. 45 miles to the gallon. But when you figure out the difference in price of diesel, it's really not like way more fuel efficient cost-wise, but poor Buff can't keep up with the chat with only 21 people in the stream. I know. He wants to read everything. He doesn't want to leave anybody out. I'm with him on that. I don't like leaving people out.
You want this? Or you can just go outside and open
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The water's coming down.
I would rather have 21 people in chat and be paying attention to all of them than have 200 people in the chat and just ignoring people. I hate it.
Ads inserted.
Yeah, as soon as people started buying diesel, they raised the price. That's because that's what you do.
Where did I put my here? Sisms. Ooh, my water.
I'm working.
I know, but I don't want to spill this on the electronics.
Oh, don't spill it on your electronics.
Right, that's why I put it over there, and then you just start putting stuff.
I know, I'm like that with the way I'm working and stuff. Okay.
Let's see here. This thing's blocking my view now. That camera can, whatever that thing's called. Dads and ads. Oh, thank you. Now I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. But you gotta mess with it anyway. Something up there is hung up. I know. I've tried to move it and it's stuck. I don't know why it's stuck. Just leave it. It's good enough. Oh, here comes the thunder and the lightning. Yep, it's raining like hell out there. LG web game commercial. Let's see. Grease Belly says, I drove my 2001 Ford Excursion 7.3 Power Stroke to Tennessee and back across the mountain, and it performed flawlessly with 423,000 miles on it. The place I used to work, we had one of those, and oh, this thing's leaking all over. And yeah, it performed really well. And then they got rid of that and got a 6.0. Man, that was not a fun engine. It had no torque. Oh, it says 323 base Ford. We called the Laser. Really, Laser here was that Chrysler car. Different car. Man, I got soaked.
Hey, will you tap on this with that big hammer that I supplied you? Right here in front of you.
Oh,
just not real.
I didn't see the hammer
because you're tapping down against my.
Okay, against your up. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Oh man, this one's really stuck. Usually I get it on the second hit. Oh, that was a pretty good hit.
And I can't push against that magnet. We'll break it.
Ready?
Yeah. There it goes.
I did it.
Thank you.
About the 9th or 10th hit, but I did it.
Well, that's some about leverage.
It's probably rusty or something.
It's got to be the right leverage. So. Yeah, it's definitely. You think it might be rusty? Magnets are in there. This is the one with the little magneto for the headlight.
My dad's. It's not root beer. It's cream soda. I don't care. Strabo says gas here in Northern California shot up almost $1 per gallon in a week.
Why did it do that?
I don't know.
What's their excuse this week?
Here it hasn't moved.
Has not changed. California will do that to you. They're not happy with the winds of change. They raise the price of gas.
The mofo driver says, "What's up, Dean Stevenson?" Dean Stevenson is in a lot of places. I see Dean Stevenson all over. Same with Mexican Spec. I see him in a lot of places. Mm-hmm. All it says it's gone up here in Georgia. Everybody's going to use the tariff excuse. Yeah, here it hasn't gone up. I mean, if it did, it was a penny or maybe the other way. I don't know. It's buying gas yesterday the same price. It hasn't moved. The mofo driver, the 66 Dart, looks like mine. Oh yeah, I used your Dart for a the nose, the head-on view for a thumbnail.
Well, that's my car. Welcome to the stream, mofo driver. Looks like mine. That's my 66. It's a 4-door, but it's has a fresh motor. We built the motor for it. It's a slant 6. It's got an automatic transmission. We switched it from a 3 on the tree because it was the drivetrain was pretty worn out. You know what I was thinking? Debating. With the amount of money that I have into that, I'm going to share this with all of you as well as him. With the minimal amount of money I think I have in that Bronco, right? I think I paid $400 for it, $450 for that Bronco. It's got 410 posi rear end in it. I was thinking maybe I'll just take that out, put it in my Dart, and
what do you mean? Here comes the politics? No, it doesn't.
Just give up on the Bronco project. It's pretty rough. That Bronco is pretty rough. And putting a motor in it, I don't know. We have other things we want to do. If I just took the rear end out and put the Dart 410 rear end, that Dart get up and go.
Mofo driver says mine is a slant 6. Hers is a slant 6.
It is a slant 6.
It's a very fresh slant 6.
Oh yeah,
because we just redid it all.
Pistons are nice and tight. All the bearings are clearance.
Everything is good. And that brand new cam lifters,
valve guides.
Yeah, she ported the head on it.
We had to put a new cam and lifters in it because the lifters weren't spinning, and it hadn't flattened a lobe yet, but it was going to mighty quick.
Rainy day says people. Oh, rainy day, even though they know her name. Grease Belly says people call me Grease all the time.
Please.
Next inspect says on my live, my wife was reading the comments. She was Mrs. Mexican Spec. I saw that.
How'd you like being called Mrs. Mexican Spec? I think that that's appropriate.
Well, there's Dr. Go. There's Dr.
Yeah,
Go.
Mrs. Dr.
Go. Well, just a minute. I gotta screw the top on this so it doesn't spill all over the place. Okay, I think that's good. Where's my gloves? Not here.
Oh.
So I don't want to hold that nasty thing.
Never mind, it came out. Came out.
You don't have to do nothing.
You don't have to do nothing. I saved you the trouble. Because I'm nice.
I didn't want to grab this dirty old sharp thing without my gloves on.
You guys leave the tins on these motors. It's supposed to be for air cooling, but air cool that.
The mofo
Get out of here.
driver says, I just subbed to you. Dude, us? If you subbed to us, thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Man, I am like, I don't know where we are.
The channel's growing.
I was this close to 4,000 subs.
Mofo driver, how did you find our channel? Welcome to the stream. How'd you end up here?
Sounds like Dean Stevenson sent this story. I'm not sure. Tavo says we pay more for a bottle of water down here than gas. Gas $2.50 to $3. Oh, for gas, $2.50 to $3 for 600 milliliter of water. Under $2 a liter for unleaded. Man.
Well,
Grease Belly, I'm trying to sub to some of you guys if you have a channel, but I can't ever find the channel names based on your usernames.
So if you have
My wife is the warden.
If you are in the chat and you have a channel and the name of your channel is different than your username and you want Grease Belly Garage and anyone else who's currently watching to be able to find your channel, I invite you to call it out. I don't know if Mexican Spec has a free hand to put up links to those people's channels, but even if he doesn't, at least you could say, hey, I have a channel and it's this, and that would be good.
Ronnie Johns.
Do it. Do it now.
Ronnie Johns, welcome to the stream. Oh, that's crazy. Let's make good boat anchors down here. But we were spoiled with the upright replacement thing. Yeah, the Hemi 6.
The Hemi 6, yeah.
We don't have that.
The Slate 6s are just really durable engines that are super easy to work on.
Kevin Smith says, don't see Kim wearing gloves. Tough up, though. Yeah, I know. I just didn't want to grab and try to hold something she got a pound on. You know. I know. I'm a big wuss.
Some people like to wear protection, and we should not shame them.
I was going to grab my big welding gloves so I don't get poked with some sharp thing.
Some people don't want to get poked without protection.
All right.
And we should not shame them for that because I think it's good to consider. Just like safety glasses, we don't shame people for wearing safety glasses. They're the smart ones.
Dean Stevenson, I call my wife Generalissima Francesca or Mrs. Ecstasy.
You think we need a power generator for this?
Rainy Day says, I'm at 71 subscribers. I don't even know it. Kevin Smith, no content on my channel. I had one of those channels for a while, and then one day I put something up. Started putting up something almost every day. I suspect my name is the same unless they have a different account they post on. And it's raining out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Mexican Spec, Mofo. He's posting a something. Please don't knock that over. I don't know if I click on that, what's going to happen?
What is it?
A link. Does it come up on top of ours?
No, it'll come up on a separate screen.
Oh, okay. The Mofo, I'm already subscribed to Mofo.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm already subscribed to you. Oh, look at this. Somebody, all this just popped up.
Oh, that's because you connected to YouTube, so now YouTube's giving you your notifications.
Well, I don't want those notifications here.
Well, click X
Okay,
on them.
I just clicked out on Mofo Driver. I just stumbled onto your live. Well, thanks for stumbling in. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Ronnie John, my mother owned a 1965 plum crazy purple Dodge Dart GT with a slant six. Ran like a top. We have two cars with slant sixes. Kim has a 66 Dart that had a slant six originally, but it was very worn out. We've got a fresh engine in there now. And I have a 72 Plymouth Valiant with a, I hate to say rebuilt, but it is. It was rebuilt out of a bunch of stuff. So
refurbished.
It's refurbished slant six. It runs well.
We haven't put much miles on it yet.
It doesn't have many miles, but what we rebuilt half the front end, but we didn't rebuild the other half yet. We've got to get that done, and then it's going to be a project car that's probably going to get some severe body work.
Mm-hmm. Special modifications.
Kevin Smith says, I discovered Kim and Buff through Jay, what it's like. Oh, cool.
Is that how you got here? That's cool.
I didn't know that.
Mofo Driver, if you didn't know, I am Kim of Kim Fixes Things. You can find my channel at Kim Fixes Things. And that's where I work on stuff like my Dart. But since I live here and we work together all the time, so we try to spend a lot of effort and energy towards his channel because my channel's not monetized and I don't really care. Like, it's hard when you spread yourselves too thin. So all of our focus right now is on this channel, this live stream, and the work that's getting done here for the moment.
Rainy Day Auto asks a question that I usually don't address, but I will. Says, Buff, the real name Buff? Okay, I was watching a movie with somebody years ago, and it was a movie about cops. Guess what? You know, movies are about cops. And it was detectives, and they were investigating a murder of somebody in the porn industry, you know, porn movies. And it was a man and a woman, detectives, very well-dressed woman. And she was interviewing one of the people that was a suspect or something in the porn industry. And he asked her, she's asking questions, and then he asked her, what's your porn name? And she looks at him like he's crazy. She goes, well, he says, porn actors and actresses use their first name is usually their first pet's name, the first pet, and their last name is usually the street they first lived on. And I'm thinking, man, when I was a little kid, we had a dog named Buff, and we lived on Del Campo. And I went, Buff Del Campo. Perfect. So from that moment on, my name was Buff Del Campo. So.
And I would be Nuzzy Roberts, but I'm not Nuzzy Roberts. So, although it works as a porn name.
So for a long time, I've been Buff Del Campo, and I just sort of play along with it. Grease Belly. For a while, I got Buff El Campo confused with Buff's Garage. Oh, yeah, Buff's Garage, somebody completely different.
He's an alright guy.
Ronnie Johnson, Buff Del Campo for the win. His real name is Xavier. Let's see here. Stray Bullet says, sure, you're watching a murder mystery movie. We actually were. You know what it was? It was, what's the show? It wasn't actually a movie. It was an hour-long TV show. Who was it? It was Navy investigator people. What the hell was that show? It went on and on and on for years. And I was with my former wife. We were sitting there watching this 1 hour long TV show. And when it happened, it was like, it was just funny. I just said, "Fuck Del Campo." And, man, that's perfect. And then it just went on after that. Dean Stevenson said, "Mine's John Holmes." John Holmes passed away. Peter Falk. No, no, it wasn't Peter Falk. It was a yeah, it was like that.
Jack.
NCI.
Jack.
Is that what it was? Is that NCI the NCIS? That's what it was.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah, and Lester Saber got it. I think Buddy Carafano meant to get it.
All right. Well, you both get 2 points for getting.
That actually happened on NCIS, and I was watching it. I thought it was funny as hell. Kevin Smith, no. No, we're not going there.
I got me.
Yeah, I said a movie, but it wasn't a movie. It's a TV show. You can probably find that TV show somewhere now. Mexican smack. That would indicate a problem. All right, all right. I think we need to end that
You
conversation.
should see a doctor about that, Kevin.
Jeez. Okay.
Ask your doctor if Stellantis is right for you.
Mofo driver, I'll go sub to Kim. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, check my channel out. I've worked on a couple projects. Most of it's been here, but if you go way back, I was working in Pittsburgh on my van.
So do we give Buddy Carfano? He almost got it. I think he just missed a letter. And Lester was Saber. Did they get some points for that?
I offered them 2 points apiece if they were
Points
listening.
apiece. Okay. I
If
missed
they
that.
were
I missed
listening.
that. And Gearhead said WGU and Uber Eats. I assume those are ads. Man, it's raining like hell out there. It is raining out there.
I'm going to move this back. It's a little bit dirty. A little dirty.
Man, it's raining. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's just a small spot.
Let's hope it.
Oh, that whole line of thunderstorms isn't here yet. That's just a little spot. This is gonna quit. Wow. Harry Mott says the noise cancellation's kicking in. You know, this is a tin roof. You know, some kind of steel, metal, aluminum, something. I don't know. It is loud. It is a metal roof. He's blowing off dust on me. Yeah, he's blowing dust on me. Can you all hear the rain? I guess they can hear it, but it isn't loud.
Yeah.
Sure sounds loud to me.
You know why? Because it's a constant sort of drone.
It's a constant drone.
The sound noise canceling will cut that right out.
Constant drone.
It's a drone. Talk about drones.
I can hear that the rain is affecting your noise cancellation. No, he can't hear, but the mic is canceling it. It's going to go by in a hurry. I was looking at just a small spot. I thought the front got here early, but it didn't. It's just like a small spot going by.
Oh, the water came in again.
The water came in again?
Yeah.
I'm tired of the water. We got another full day at least of pouring rain.
Man.
Voice sounds right again now. Yeah, the rain's just almost gone. It's just calmed right down.
Yeah. Big swoosh.
Mofo Driver says I just sub up to Kim Fixes Things.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome to Kim Fixes Things.
Although this channel is Kim's as much as it is mine. We're both part of it, you know.
Yeah, we do most everything together, and I don't know. I hate to get rid of my channel, but we really don't need two separate channels.
Where's the leak? Roof? No, it's like on the floor back there where it
Comes in at the base of the wall because the ground outside is higher than the wall, and
she's gone back there with her skid steer and dug, and it's way better than it used to be, but it still comes in. And the front comes in the doors because it runs down the doors and
blows in,
and it's just
pain in the butt.
It's just the way it is. And you know, if it doesn't rain hard, it doesn't come in here. But when it rains that hard, yeah, it puddles up and comes in, you know. And okay, commercials, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Grease Billy says, good night, all.
Thanks for being here, Grease Belly.
Yep, maybe people have clicked out of the ads.
Commercials, yeah.
I'm not sure. Tim says, is Kim the boss? Oh, she helps me get motivated sometimes. I'll say that. I'll say that. Rainy, and then I help her get motivated sometimes.
Sometimes I need someone to remind me that we're not here on vacation.
We've both got some health issues, so sometimes one of us is stronger than the other.
Yeah. Whoever's in charge that day.
Rainy Day Auto says, I came up with Rainy Day Auto because I grew up in a very rainy tropical place. Then I moved to Colorado where it rarely rains. It's mega dry and I miss the rain. Where was that? Where did you grow up? Mike N, yeah, I fought that fight when I lived in Georgia, living on the side of a hill. So,
the good news is the rain doesn't destroy, or the wind doesn't destroy us.
Space Cat says, that small engine, question mark?
Yeah.
Casting Gearhead and casting him as Reacher. Nope. Buddy Carfano, Anderson window ad. 2 points. Kevin Smith, Tinker ad. What is Tinker?
2 points.
2 points. I'm not sure what Tinker is.
It's all right. You still get your points, even if we don't know what you're talking about.
Mofo Driver, I remember seeing Kim pulling into No Name Nationals on someone's video. And she has been there 3 years in a row. Was it in a van or was it in a car? The van was the first 2 years. I was driving the van the second year. And the third year, she was driving her Dart. Came in the Dart.
Yeah. What a fiasco that turned out to be.
Well, yeah, she came in a Dart and it was leaking. And it kept leaking worse and worse and worse oil. And that's what led to the
new engine.
The new engine. So Mexican Spec says, a boss, maybe not the boss. Hippie long. Okay, my show is done. Show is done. Remember her integrating a closed dryer metal part into a Econoline in 2021.
Ah, yes.
Oh, what was that?
That was when I made sheet metal repairs.
Oh, that was on your channel. Yeah, that was before I knew you. Because I was watching her when I was up there in Ohio helping with build some wings. I was watching her YouTube channel. I go, man, I want to meet her. And she's in Pittsburgh, which is like an hour away. And I'm like, man, I don't want to be a stalker, but I want to meet her. And then I went to Oregon for some flight testing, and then I told them I'm going to No Name Nationals. I'm leaving here on whatever date it was, and I'm retired anyway. So then I left, and I went to No Name Nationals. She was there, so I met her in 2022 at No Name Nationals. Kevin Smith said, that's why I said half these ads are not sure what they're for. Huh. Mexican Spec says, yes, your van overheated shortly after you left home. Remember, people check your water. Yeah, you know what? That was the second year. Because the first year we had to drain the coolant out of her van so she could race it, and we put water in it. So when we left No Name Nationals, we drained the water out and put the coolant back in. So then the next year we're driving to No Name Nationals. It overheated. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? When was the last time you checked your coolant? Well, it was at No Name Nationals. It was a year ago. So we ended up stuck alongside the road, and she climbed down to some creek with some bottles and got water. And,
That was fun.
oh, man, yeah, there's a video on that. That was the second year. Let's see here. Yes, your van overheated. Yeah, okay, I already read that.
It didn't really overheat, though. It just the gauge showed that it was hot.
It was hot, so we just put
When
water.
you're low on coolant, it doesn't really overheat. It just we come up over a big hill, and as soon as we started coming down the hill, the gauge went from normal to like boom, and I was like, uh-oh, something's really wrong. And we had just got on the highway. We had only done maybe a mile or two up the highway, so all that extra energy to get it going hot, it got it really hot. But it didn't hurt it. It hasn't. We've driven a lot since. It's never given us trouble.
Dean Stevens says Mitsubishi Black Diamond heat pump ad.
Boy, am I hot. I'm taking this off, folks.
Kevin Smith says, Spencer, we use antifreeze up here in the north or coolant. Yeah, we do here too, but on the drag strip, you cannot do that. It's not allowed.
Glycol will make a slick mess. That's impossible.
They do not ever want to have that stuff leak onto the drag strip. So you have to drain it all out and put water in, and then before you leave, drain it all out again and put your coolant back in. Or drive back home and then put the coolant in.
If you're smart, you put the coolant back in before you forget. How many race motors have been ruined by having water in them?
Rainy Day Auto, we need No Name Nationals Western Edition in Las Vegas, so it would be closer for us in the Western states to get there. Hey, you know what? I was in northeastern Oregon the first year.
I'm gonna make noise. I don't know. You might be able to still go. Okay.
She's gonna make noise. Yeah, road trips are cool, but I don't get much vacation time, and I have to be back to the office. You know, I had jobs like that for years. 15 years working in an aircraft plant where we got 5 days vacation a year. And they wouldn't let me take all 5 days at the same time. It was like, if I can give you 5 days off, I don't need you at all. I could get 2 days off. That sucked, you know. And then the next company I worked for, we got increasing numbers of days off with seniority, and I had, I think, 37 days a year off at the last job I had, and it was really cool because it was holidays, you know, like all holidays, President's Day and all this kind of Christmas, all that kind of stuff. Holidays, sick days, and vacation days. And you could take them whenever you wanted, the 37 days. So if you were sick, it came off your 37 days. Or if you took the 3-day weekend, it came off your 37 days. But there are a lot of people that came in on the 3-day weekends, including me, because I wanted to take those days off for vacation time. So it was rare that I took a sick day, although I took a couple. And but that was great. I could, and where I was working, I was never with family. I was some place, you know, and so I'd go in on holidays and work. I didn't care. So So 37 days off were just great. So much better than the other place where I got 5 days off a year but couldn't be together. Kim, what are you heating up?
I'm drying off this flywheel that
Oh, she's drying off a flywheel. Oh, that sounds like you're going to paint it. Oh, what are you going to do? Put this stuff on it? This, it's missing from here. You're just going to put that rust converter on it.
Nah.
It was, did you take it over there?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that would be a good thing to do.
I'm not worried about it.
Rainy Day says road trips are cool. Okay, I already read that. Rainy Day, it would be amazing how you are sick the same week every year, ironically the same week as the race. Buddy Carfon, I remember grandfather putting tablet into radiator in his Cadillac. It's at the what do they call those things? Bars leak or something? Rainy Day, every time I try to call off, I end up going in because it feels weird. Then I feel guilty even if I'm really sick. Yeah, they'd. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's a long distance for some. Kevin Smith, be back later, y'all. Okay, have fun wherever you're going. Yeah, that rain was really raining. Now it's gone.
Really, dude? Kick off. Huh?
Dean says, hostess, I need help. A girl is hanging from her safety belt. Let's fly away into the blue skies. Let's fly today. What is this? Must be some kind of song. John Wilburn has recommended a fly in, fly out. New guy's guitar and brother fly it on in. Well, Dean, I've been asking you to fly in. You could fly into, like, if you flew into Nashville, we'd give you a ride to No Name Nashville.
Yeah, just fly to Nashville. It's not expensive or far.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at least it's a big international airport. You know, it's not that big. It's an airport that's pretty easy to navigate.
It's halfway across the world.
It's halfway across the world. I know. And he may have things there where you can't just leave, but he's invited.
He's invited.
And if he knows how to drive on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car, he could actually take one of our cars. Drive the Valiant. I don't think the Valiant's ready to take that trip. It may be by then. Dean Stevenson, I'm just planning for it. It's not that far by jet. That's right, jet.
Jet.
It is, even by jet, it's a pretty long flight. Oh, man. My father was in California, and he and my stepmom, his wife, they flew to Australia one year. They were quite elderly at the time, and it was a long trip for them, which is almost the same thing from New Zealand to here. Probably similar distance from California to Australia. Kevin Smith, ever watch Short Landing and Takeoffs? I've done short landings and takeoffs. Oh, with Piper Cubs? Oh, those things where they come in and they roll like 10 feet. Yeah, I've watched that stuff. It's like it's just crazy sport, you know. But I used to fly in and out of some pretty short strips. And a lot of the strips I flew out in and out of were mountain strips. And because they were in the mountains, they could make the runways uphill. So you always land uphill. And you always take off downhill and like shoot off a cliff, you know. So those are real easy to get in and out of, even though they were short, you know. Man, there's one I used to go in and out of. It was 500 feet, but it was severely uphill. So you just come in and you just flare. be down to, you had to give it power to get up to the top of the hill. And it was 500 feet, 500 foot long runway. And then leaving, it was the same thing. Just go from the plateau on the top, and as soon as you were over, you just full power and you were in the air. I watched a guy do that with an airplane called what was that thing? Kit Fox, and he did it from a mountain somewhere where it was severely downhill, and he just landed there, and it was just grass and rocks and stuff. He had big tires on it, and he didn't have the engine on. He just started going downhill, going like crazy, and took off, and then glided down to some riverbed and landed down there. And it was funny because people say he did a dead stick landing, which means you landed with the engine shut off. Well, this guy did a dead stick takeoff. I don't think I've ever seen that any other place, but there's a YouTube video with him doing a dead stick takeoff in a Kit Fox. I don't remember what channel that was. It's been up there for quite a while. Rainy day auto, yes, but I'm relatively new, so I don't have much accrued yet. Yeah, that aircraft place I was at 15 years, and I still only had a 5 days vacation. That's just... Yeah, and the other place is the place where I currently am employed, although I'm retired. They call me up sometimes, and if they call me and I can do it, I work for them. But
they're phasing you out. They have to, because
they're really good to me. They gave me a bonus at Thanksgiving, and they gave me a bonus at Christmas, and I hadn't worked for them for 2 years. It's like, are you kidding me? I've worked at places that never gave me Christmas bonuses, and they gave me a bonus 2 years after I was finished working for them. But then they called me back this year, and I worked for them for 4 weeks part time.
Oh, you
just sitting there
you
typing.
Did not enjoy the project.
just sitting there rewriting a maintenance manual. Yeah, Kevin Smith. Some of them are less than 5 feet takeoff and landing. Yeah, I've watched those things. Gray Bullet. Kiwi just flew from New Zealand to Tennessee. He said it was 27 hours from the grid door. They won't recognize. Oh, what is this? Why is this here? There's a cursor in front of what I'm trying to read. Dean Stevenson says, I'm thinking of a nice Mexican spec car and a trip from Nogales. Wow, that'd be cool. Then how are you going to get it back to... I guess you get it back to New Zealand somehow. Ronnie Johns, little pictures of airplanes. Ronnie, you a pilot. Rainy Day Auto. What Mexican spec names is not Mexican spec?
Well, no, that's his name, but
that's his name, but not his name.
That's not what his friends call.
Yeah, Mexican spec says that would be nice. A Fox Body Fairmont V8 3-speed manual. Steve Edwards here. Hello, good evening. How you doing? I was just watching one of your videos today. You were, I don't remember what kind of radio it was. It was another one of the ones you like. And then I saw you the other night in 390 Wagon Masters Live. You were in there too.
You guys are all over the internet.
Well, see, 390 Wagon Master, that's a basically CB radios, although he's also a ham operator, so he's talked to some about ham radios, but mostly he likes CBs, which I understand why, because it's just so unregulated, and that's kind of cool. And it is a viable hobby, you know. There's some idiots out there, but you don't have to be where the idiots are, you know.
Yeah, ain't that the way? There's idiots everywhere, but you don't have to be where they are.
Mexican Spec says, some friends call me Mexican Spec. Dean Stevenson says, so I have my sister to care for now, legal matters. but my company deals with international logistics, so I've got options. I've been working with Mexican Spec since back in 22, legal advice and tax. Mexican Spec says, you get around, Buff. Rainy Day Auto, a Fairmont wagon. And I had a Fairmont wagon and I had a Zephyr wagon. Both of them are great cars. Although the Zephyr wagon had a V8 in it that was a piece of crap. And I had a 4-cylinder Pinto engine, which I put in it and got it running and a 4-speed. So I had to put the clutch pedal in it and everything. I drove it around for a while. A friend of mine had a car that got totaled, and I just gave it to him, and he drove it around for a couple of years, and he's thankful to have it, even though it had a 4-cylinder in it. Got him and his family around. And then I had a V8 Fairmont wagon that was just a stock engine and an automatic transmission. But my the last one that's similar to one I have right now, I took the 4-cylinder out of that and put a V8 in it, and it was pretty nice V8 and an automatic. That thing was kind of fast. Dean Stevens says, I'll get one of Mexican Spec's 247 cars somehow. Does he have that many cars listed? Wow. He may have counted them all. Tavo, down under, a Fairmont wagon would be a Falcon wagon with upgraded interior trim and extra bright work. Man, if you bought a Mexican Spec Fairmont, it would be left-hand drive with a shifter here. Would you be allowed to drive that in New Zealand? Of course, on the wrong side of the road. Wrong side. On the left side of the road. Then I was in England, and I have a friend there that I knew in the internet, and I ended up hanging out with him when I was there doing something else with airplanes. So I was hanging out with him, and he was really into Russian cars, and I was in a kind of an internet group with Russian cars. So he and I hung out together a little bit, and we're zipping down some road in England. In England, they don't mow the grass up real close to the road. They're just tall grass and trees right up there. So if there's a little bit of a curve, you can't see cars coming the other way until you're right on them. And he's going down the road. He's on the left side, and we're on the left side of the road. So I'm sitting out by the divider, and we're going like crazy around these corners in a Russian Volga. I'm like, holy crap, it just seems so wrong. But I don't know. If you knew how to drive like that, it'd be kind of cool. Rainy Day says, so Mexican Spec does legal advice and tax?
No.
Oh, he says on my car deals. Rainy Day says, I deal with tax law a lot, but not international. Mexican Spec Buff. The Fairmont from there is very, yeah, I know it's a different car. I was just looking at them. Steve Edwards, I got another negative comment on one of my bids. He said I was a bad tech. LOL. I said, damn. Yeah, I get bad comments too. People.
If you're not getting any bad comments, then no one is watching but your friends. It's good news. The first time you get some trolls and some really critical commentary, that means you're getting out there in the world.
I've had people.
Welcome. Congratulations. You got your first negative garbage.
I've had people leave some.
He used to get really upset.
I'll delete some comments if they're If they're personal attacks, they're gone. If they disagree with me, that's okay. If they're advertising, like there's somebody from India that comes in there all the time advertising his help to increase my popularity of my channel. He wants money. Well, he's gone, You're not going to come in there and advertise in my comment section for something that especially when it's something YouTube provides. You know, you can get that help from YouTube. You know, YouTube has all kinds of help. I'm trying to talk over the hammer. YouTube has all kinds of help, videos and all kinds of things to help you increase your traffic on your channel. I want to talk, but Kim's hammering.
Where the shop doing stuff?
I know. Mexican Spec says, rainy day, we deal with the duty paid on the imported car, which is now 27.5% with the tariff.
Yikes!
You know, here we go. We got ads.
Who collects that?
Who collects what?
The tariff.
Well, the country that's charging it.
How do they collect it? When you're selling a car and you bring it across the border, who collects it? Does the Border Patrol make you give them the money, or?
Oh, it's probably, well.
How does it work? I'm serious. I have no idea how that would work.
Okay, like when you come, like when I come across from Mexico, they want to know what I'm bringing, and there's, it's customs.
Okay.
Okay, I sold an airplane to a guy in Canada years and years ago. Before all this, holy shit!
What's wrong?
I was a little noisy while I was talking. Tell me when you're done.
Done.
Okay, so I want to talk about this. So many years ago, before all this happened with this recent tariff thing, I was selling airplanes. For 15 years, I was selling airplanes. And so I sold an airplane to a guy in Canada. And Canada had a pretty hefty tariff against us. I mean, they have forever. So he came into the U.S., picked up the airplane, and drove into Canada. And when he got there, their customs agent or customs officer, whatever they call the individual, wanted to know what he paid for the airplane. And he lied about it. And they suspected he lied because it didn't seem like enough money. So they searched his vehicle. And they found the receipt that we'd written to him that proved that he lied. And so then they charged him the proper amount, which I think was 25%. It's like a $100,000 airplane. So he had to pay $25,000 to the Canadian government for the tariff. Plus, they charged him $3,000 for lying to them.
But this is not new. How old was this story?
Oh, this was in the 90s.
Okay.
No,
so
this is early 2000s.
I just want people to know that, like, this is not
this isn't
speculation.
current.
This is absolutely what Canada was doing.
This is what Canada's. I mean, there was NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. None of us were supposed to be charging tariffs, but Canada was always in violation of that. So they've been doing this before all that.
Yeah, this is political now.
So well, wait a minute. So
can't help.
So what happened was. You asked who pays. Well, he had to pay the customs people going into Canada. And yeah, I think that was in 02 or 03. So he had to pay it to the customs people at the border in Canada.
Wow.
And Mexican Spec says the tariff is paid to the customs agent and they pay the government. Yeah, it's the customs people that, of course, they work for the government, so they collect it. So that was Mexican Spec says, why didn't he fly it in? Oh, it was a kit. It was a airplane kit. It's all the pieces to build this airplane and an engine and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it was about $100,000. So, well, they knew that he didn't pay what he said. He really lowballed it. They knew better. So, he got caught which you don't want to get caught, because then not only you pay the tariff, you pay the fine. So yeah, he had to pay him. Or take it back into the U.S., and he lived in Canada. So, yeah, that was, I don't know, 02 or 03. It's probably it's probably 02. That was in 02.
Anyways,
and if he flew it in, and then Mexican Spec said if he flew it in, he'd still have to register it in Canada, and where'd this come from? I'm sure they're going to catch him. Sid Atoya, welcome to the chat. NAFTA, do we have to? Yeah, it's not political, Kim. It's just real life.
NAFTA, I hardly knew
Yeah. Mexican Spec says it's not political, Kim. It's just real life. Yeah, it's just real life.
I know. But some people perceive that any kind of time you talk about anything that's in the news, that suddenly it's a political agenda, and I'm in favor of one person or another, and it's not. That's not what we're talking about.
No, it's not. You asked who you pay the tariff to.
Right.
It gets paid to the customs officer.
It's logistics, not political.
Right. It's logistics, not political. Okay.
And it's history. This is happening in the 90s, and this has nothing to do with current events.
Well, it happened. I think it was in 02.
The way it is.
It was 23 years ago.
And the way it has been.
Mexican Specs, there's no NAFTA anymore. Yeah, it was superseded by USMCA in 2020, and now it's superseded by current stuff. Tao says we have two levels. One we call a tariff, the other is called an import duty. Different creatures. Yeah, in Canada, going into Canada, then they called it an import duty, but it's the same thing. It's just you had to pay to get it into Canada. The guy bought a kit for $100K. Yeah, I mean it's a replica of a P-51 Mustang, and the kit was about 50, something like $59K, and then there's a bunch of accessories, instruments, and an engine, and a propeller, and I don't know whatever all the accessories are. Yeah, and those kits with all the stuff was $100K plus or minus. It depends on what options they got.
Those kits were pretty comprehensive too, weren't they?
I mean, if you buy a kit, you can build an airplane and fly it.
It's not just the plans. It's like the whole.
What kind of kit? It was a Titan T51 Mustang, which is the guy that owned the company passed away, and the company, the people who inherited it, sold it to somebody else, and they're about to put it back into production. And they're somewhere in, I think, Oklahoma, but I'm not sure. And they've about got, and it's another company that builds, I think they build agricultural aircraft, and they're about to start production on it again. But it was called the Titan T51 Mustang. If you do a search, like on Google, do a search images, there's thousands of them out there. So
thousands of images?
Yeah, if you go on to Google Images, you just type in Titan T51 Mustang. There's like pictures and pictures and pictures and pictures.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
I think I'm done with what I can do with this motor. This motor needs what's the thing that makes up the spark when it spins around?
What? Thing that makes a spark that spins around?
The part that the spark plug wire connects to that builds up the charge. Magneto.
Would that be a magneto?
I don't know if that's what it's called, but yeah.
Blue Grit's here. The third charge is called a prime. Yeah. I've learned something. Don't bribe government officials, especially in Canada. I knew a guy that tried to do that in Canada, and that really got him in trouble. I'd say Canadian officials pride themselves in honesty. And, man, that's the wrong thing to do.
You're setting yourself up.
Oh, God. I think they do. I think they pride themselves in their honesty. And they try to bribe them. It's the wrong thing to do. I know somebody in the U.S. many years ago got stopped by the California Highway Patrol, And he got out of the car and he opened his wallet with his license and he pulled out a couple of 20s and kind of pointed them toward the cop. And the cop looked at his license and went and wrote him a ticket. And he ticketed him for speeding and for attempting to bribe the police officer. That did not work out well for him at all. Man.
Maybe don't do that.
Maybe don't do that. Yeah. Let's see here. Rainy Day Auto. Subscribed. Subscribe to somebody. I'm not sure who. Dean Stevens is just one of my channels. Oh, I see. Sid Atoya. Plane kits are cool. Yeah, I did the kit plane thing for many, many years. And it worked into another job, which was working on unmanned aircraft. Does the Titan use an automotive-based engine? The T-51 Mustang used several engines. Used Rotax 912s, which is enough. I mean, that was our design criteria when we designed the airplane, was it had to fly on that. And then the 914, which is a turbocharged version of that engine. So it's 100 horsepower, 115 horsepower. And then that guy in Canada, the same guy in Canada, developed a V6 Suzuki engine. And later somebody did a V6 Honda engine, Honda or Acura, I guess. And then Titan with somebody else developed oh man, they started putting LS Chevys in them. 550 horsepower LS Chevys, which I didn't really like because I did the design, most of the design work on that airplane. And that was going to be pretty much beyond the capability of the airplane. You had to use some sense and pull the power back. And John set that thing up so they'd only run them at 4,000 RPM instead up to like 7,000. So they dynoed it at 4,000 RPM, and they were only getting a little over 300 horsepower out of it. That aircraft was designed really for like 100 and a quarter, and now they got 300 horsepower. That thing would climb on about a 40-degree angle, you know, and it seemed to be a pretty reliable engine, but you could overspeed that airplane. You had to use some sense, you know. So yeah.
So don't be stupid.
Hippie Long says, if you had a drink, you can't enter Canada. DUI. I went to Canada one time and they wanted to know if I had any fruit or vegetables and everything. I had 2 apples. They said, there was a big parking lot right behind me. They said, turn around, drive back into the United States where that dumpster is, and throw the apples in the dumpster. Then come back in. I turned around. I went over there. I ate the apples, threw the apple cores in the dumpster, came back in, and they let me in. What was funnier was coming back into the U.S., and then I'm going to U.S. Customs, and they want to know if I had any live birds. And my reaction, I held my mouth. But my reaction was, don't you think they just fly across? But I didn't say that. I just said, no, sir. No live birds. They said,
Live?
they said, come on in. Welcome home.
Live birds.
Oh, God. It's funny stuff, you know. Dean Stevenson left you in Asia, and they asked for payment, and it's business expense. Okay. I know which one it is now. Dean Stevenson, I have to remember not to offer a child Mort's ice cream. I was eating them. Now, you don't offer cops anything. Offer me a driver's license. Your ID, say as little as possible. Sign the ticket and get on your way. You know. Let's see here. I've had to sign a few tickets. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been many, many years. Last ticket I had to sign.
Knock on wood.
Last ticket I had to sign was for a taillight being out in Ohio. Man. Hippie Long Buck. You see Juan Brown's Blanco. Okay. Oh, Blanco Lirios. Corsair video yet. Corsair video. I don't know. When did that come out? I watch everything Blanco Lirio does, so I don't know. Maybe I missed that. Or has it been a while ago? Because I watch just about everything Blanco Lirio does. Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, I'm still here. I was making my lunch for work tomorrow. Oh, that sounds like a good thing to do. I always like lunch that you make the day before. For some reason, it's always better. When you make it the night before, it's always better.
Uses to get in there.
I don't know. It's like the bread's better. Like when I make sandwiches, it was always better. Shaquille, good evening. Or good evening here. It's probably daytime there. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Local driver, my 66 Dart is named Frankenstein. I have a weird little channel. You know, I need somebody help me here. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some suggestions. I want a good name for my Mercury Zephyr. I don't really like the name it has because the name that it has is based on its color, and that may change. I don't know. It was named after Chewbacca. You know who Chewbacca is on what movie was that?
Oh gosh, you don't know, do you?
Yeah, it's Star Wars or something.
Now you're just trying to make
and so he called it Chewy. Well, I don't know. Cletus. No. Tavo, I like when I remember to make my lunch. I've made that mistake before. It's like, oh, I made lunch last night. Yeah, maybe I didn't. Go look in the refrigerator. It's like, no, I forgot to make lunch.
Oh, you would be swearing, angry.
Well, when I worked in the aircraft place, I worked at Titan. When I go in there, they had a big machine that was full of burgers and stuff, you know.
Oh,
now there's the good food to eat. Burgers out of a machine, you know.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. So, let's see here. Let's see here. Grandma Vic's here. Hey, how you doing?
Welcome to the stream, Grandma Vic.
Olive says, I wouldn't want to change the Maximum Brown edition. I don't really like that brown that much. I thought about painting that car white with maybe some of the brown trim so the interior is right. Yeah, I'm not going to go paint it bright blue or something with that interior because then it's just wrong, you know. But my last one was dark blue. That wouldn't work. But my last Fairmont, the wagon was white. And that with this, my last one was white with this same interior. That Zephyr is a 78. It's a 78 Zephyr Z7. So if you look up Z7, you'll see it. Or if you look in our, you know, I should put it up in in the posts. I really like it when they call it community, but they change the name of community to posts. I should put some posts up of pictures of that thing. Terry Mott, on those cold starts, he'll have a few names. Yeah, like it doesn't start. Hey, Kim, can you come out here and hold the choke shut for me?
Yeah, I've had to do that a bunch of times.
Or I take the air cleaner off and I squirt like a full cup of fuel in there. It starts right up. But this morning, it was 85 degrees out. It fired right up without either. Stray Bullet says a vending machine with hamburgers. Oh, yeah, we had a hot food machine there.
Yeah, you never seen a vending machine?
But eventually that thing went away. You know what's really funny? John hired a guy that lived across the street and down a little ways, and young kid, and he came in there and worked, and he'd bring his dog with him. So he had this big black shepherd. What's that thing called? I should know the name of that. Anyway, big black dog, about 100-pound dog. So that dog would come in, and in the hallway was where that food machine, or there were 3 food machines. There was a Coke machine and candy bars and the hot food machine. And that dog would come in there and sit right in front of the food machine all day. And then people would come in at break time and they'd buy stuff, and they'd always give the dog food. So dog came to work with that kid every day and just hang out in front of the food machines.
Beggar.
Just sit there in front of the food machines. One thing the Mexican Fairmont Elite has over U.S. cars is the plush interior. You know, that was a pretty nice car. And the exterior with the trim on it looked good, too. Stray Bullet says, I've never seen a hamburger vending machine. Well, this had all kinds of hot food, but hamburgers is one of the things.
Yeah, in places that people work, there's a lot of that.
Dean Stevenson says, Subway, is that a ad you got? Sid Atoya, 78 Zephyr is cool with a V8. Yeah, my last one was I had my last one. It was only 4 years old. So, and that was a 79, but it wasn't a Zephyr. It was a Fairmont Futura, which is the same as the Zephyr Z7 and same body. And I pulled the 4-cylinder out and put a 302 in it. That was kind of a built 302, and that thing was fast. This one's a 6-cylinder, and who knows, I might put a V8 in it someday, but I'm going to at least get it to No Name Nationals with the 6 so I can race Kim with her 6. So I've already told John Wilburn that I told that tonight. So, Kim, we got a race when we get there. Grandma Vic, Kim, how are you doing? And you, Buff? We're doing okay. It was raining like hell a little bit ago, but right now we're going to be able to walk home without getting wet. Terry Mott, Buff, you're 1 away from 4K subs. Wow, yeah, I was 12 away when I walked up here. That's good to know. Cool. Man,
if anybody's not subbed, now's the time.
Stray Bullet says, but who makes the hamburgers? I don't know. You know, it's like when you go in a gas station, buy a hamburger. You know, like I'm in somewhere, going across country. I'm in Texas, and I buy a hamburger, and I look at it, and it says, made in Boise, Idaho. It's like, really?
Yep.
How did it get here without spoiling? No,
I don't know.
It's like, what the hell?
Scary stuff, isn't it?
Mrs. One-Eyed Cat, them vending machines we call the death wheel.
The death wheel.
You know, where I worked at Titan, up the street, there was a McDonald's and there was a Burger King, so I'd go up there sometimes. That's how I got so fat. She didn't like me to use the word fat. But I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now. And I'd get like 2 Whopper with cheese, for lunch. And then for dinner, I'd have 2 Whopper with cheese. Well, you gain weight doing that, let me tell you.
I mean, that's a recipe for gaining weight.
Or I'd get 2 or 3 Big Macs, That's terrible food. So now she doesn't let me do that anymore.
I would let you if that's what you do.
No. She's helped me stay on my diet and made my diabetes not be a problem. And
you did most of it.
Yeah, I've done it, but kind of with your help. Because when you're there, it's like I feel like a real asshole if I eat 2 Whopper with cheese. Oh, it wasn't Whopper with cheese. Whopper with cheese with extra mayonnaise, man. I mean, that's like the burger.
I think the mayonnaise is the worst one.
That's a big, great burger. But yeah, that's terrible for you. That's terrible for you.
I'm not trying to kill you.
Yeah, if I kept eating I lost 100 pounds in 07. 07? Yeah, it was in February, March, April. It was in 4 months. 4 months I lost 100 pounds in 2007. And I've kept it off some. I've gained back 20, 30, lost it, gained it, lost it. So right now I'm on the low end. So 7-Eleven taquitos are pretty decent. Terry Motto, build your immune system. Tim says, do you get a raise from YouTube when you hit 4,000? No. It's just like all 4,000 subs does is it makes me start working toward 5,000 subs.
That's all it does. It moves the goalposts.
You get paid by the views, the number of hours people view.
Right.
And
not just by the click. You don't really get paid by the click. You get paid by the amount of time they watch. So you can make all the lousy videos you want. If people click on them, get bored, and leave, you don't do well. You got to really make your content something people want.
Oliver says, I think the Zephyr looks like a Smedley.
Smedley? Oh, jeez.
I worked with a guy that called everybody Smedley.
Good old-fashioned
Smedley. He called everybody Smedley.
Okay.
Grandma, diabetic. Need to watch what I eat. Yep. I've gotten so good at it. See, I was doing insulin like 15 years ago. And now I haven't touched insulin in a long time. I take metformin and glipizide, but I got to be careful because I'll go low. One night on a live, I went low and I knew it. And I had Kim bring me some. Would you bring me some carrot cake to get myself out of the low?
Does it show on video?
What's that? Oh, what you're doing?
This is the motor that was on the mini bike, the racing bike, and this is the motor that I have to replace it with. This is a 98cc, and this is a 196cc. Can you tell the difference in size? Anybody? Should I make a video about it?
What is this? Rainy Day Auto would name the Zephyr the Mark Twain Zephyr. Then you could paint it any color with a brush. Tim 72, you'll get a 100K plaque before you know it. I told John Wilburn that was my goal, and he looked at me like I was crazy. I said, yeah, I want to get 100,000 subs. I want to get to that point. You know, why not? Then I've got a business going. You know, that we can. I'm not on just Social Security that's becoming worth less and less every day. Let's see. Bora Birkin. NAFTA, do we have to? Yeah, somebody said that earlier. Kim, sit a bit and join us. I see.
Nobody nobody has anything to say about it.
Oh, you need to make burgers that look like Pirelli P7 Cinturo tire. People that eat it in droves. I feel like I've just eaten a 124 scale. What are you talking about? Grandma Vic, I take Metformin 500 and Lantus. Oh, Lantus is. I used to take Lantus as a insulin. I got the point. I'll tell you what happened. I was a big guy, and I was heavy, and I just got serious about it. I took 100 pounds off, and then I started going low, and I started reducing the amount of insulin and reducing it. My doctor says, I'll let you do that. You can change your meds because I think you know what you're doing. But he goes, you got to tell me about it. And I said, okay. So I just kept telling him, and I got down to the point where I'm taking 1,000 metformin right now, and no more Lantus. But it took some work to get to that point. And after losing 100 pounds, man, did I have energy. I mean, it was hard to walk up and down stairs. My feet hurt all the time. And after I lost that 100 pounds, my feet didn't hurt anymore, and I could walk. I couldn't run anymore. It's just rough you get older, it's rough on the knees and the joints and everything. But you know, I had energy, and it made a heck of a difference. You know, and if you're not overweight, I don't know what to say. You know, just diet. Oh, and the other thing I did to lose the weight was I ate nothing but lettuce and cabbage and salads. Once a week, I'd have a piece of chicken, and never breaded, no bread, no. My father was borderline diabetic, but he prevented it, and he told me, you know what? Never eat anything white. And it's like, don't eat potatoes, no bread, no rice. Wait a minute, that's all the stuff I like. There's some exceptions to the white thing. You can eat sour cream. I use some sour cream. I have some salad dressing I use that's 0 carbs, and I put some of that on some sour cream, kind of thicken it up a little bit, and I use that for dressing. Yeah. Grandma Vic says twice a day, 30 unit. Yes, 30 units. Tim says, Kim, I can't tell the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Mexican Spec says, I don't know anything about tiny engines. Dean says, Tavo's Ford Transit custom van advertisement. Oh, okay. Cool. 2 more points. The name's Zephyr, cool breeze. Yeah, that's what Zephyr is, isn't it? Zephyr is a breeze. Isn't there? There's already a car called Breeze.
It's a
Named the
Plymouth,
Zephyr
isn't it?
Cool Breeze.
Isn't it a Breeze?
Tim says, now I see the difference. That might take a special burger press. Yes. A burger press that looks like tires. You know, you do that, you can sell it at a drag strip. Tire burgers. Oh, man. Grandma Vic, my ANC won't come down from 74. You probably mean 7.4? Yeah, you know, in the last 6 months, mine's been down to 5.8. But it's the first time in decades mine's been 5.8. And it's Kim that's really helped me with that. Because I was in the 11 range and then 7s for a long time, and now 5.8. The last 2 doctors, this has been 5.8. Well, I need to lose about 35 to 40 pounds. Hopefully that will remove some of my slothness. Slothness. Hippie Long, the Z sled. The Z sled. See, I'm not supposed to say Z, though, because when I say Z, Mexican Spec gets all upset. I was just going to call it the Z. The Mexican Spec doesn't like it. He does not approve of that.
Mexican Spec doesn't make the rules.
Mexican Spec doesn't make the rules.
This is our channels.
We're taking the Z. My wife gives me, Buff. Buff was eating like a rabbit. Yeah, a lot of people told me that. How can you just eat that rabbit food? Well, I wanted to weigh less than I did.
And you didn't want to die from.
Yeah. I didn't want to be
poisoning.
Dead in a year. So I guess I've succeeded because that was in 07 and I'm still alive. My wife gives me potatoes and rice. Is she trying to get rid of me? Well, I think your diet's different than mine. You're not a diabetic. You have something. You've told us you have something with what is it that wheat has? What is it that you can't have?
Yeah.
Gluten. So you got
so much better.
You got to deal with gluten. So
you've got a gluten allergy, and you take care of it. Oh, you will notice the difference.
And Kim has similar.
I have some bread. Remember, I bought like some bagels and stuff. Oh, I felt so sore.
What, it had gluten?
Yeah, it was awful.
Hippie Long, it has zip, but thank you. Rainy Day, does it have AC? It does, but it's broken. And I knew that. Everything was hooked up, which is, I like that because then I know bugs and dirt and crap didn't get in there. We had it unhooked when we did the heater, but I plugged the lines with plugs, and then so now it's hooked back up again. But I knew the compressor was bad when I bought it, so we're gonna have to buy a compressor and then charge it up.
You knew the job was dangerous.
So yes, it has AC. And driving it today, I had the windows open, but it was hot and sticky, humid out there, and I was kind of wishing I had the AC. So it'll happen. Tim says, Tavo, you need to walk down the road to the bar more often. Get your aerobics in. Dean Stevens says, Lantis reminds me of a song. Mexican Spec says, Zed, what? Oh, Dean Stevens says, the man from Atlantis comes to our class. Atlantis and Lantis are two different. Lantis is a type of injectable insulin. And there were 2 that I used to take. I don't remember the other one. I'd have to remember it. But as soon as she said Lantis, it was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Rainy Day says, that's impressive, Buff. Very disciplined. I wasn't always very disciplined.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been that big if he had been disciplined.
Oh, yeah, that's how I, man. Mexican Spec says, I have gluten-free bread, but I don't eat much. Yeah, I have special, what are those things? Tortillas that are low carbs. Man, they're tough to eat. They're just not very good. So I buy the little street taco corn tortillas. They're about 6.5 grams of carbs each, but they're normal tortillas. They're just small. And I'll eat a couple of those a day, but that's still within my limits, you know. Stray bullet. I only eat salad because I love salad dressing. You know, there are some salad dressings out there that are zero sugar, zero carbs that are good, and there's some that are not very good. And
You found a couple good
I
ones.
found one I really like.
G.
Not a
Hughes?
sponsor, but the name of it is G, the letter G, G Hughes, like Howard Hughes. Just remember the letter before Howard Hughes. Instead of H Hughes, it's G Hughes. And there's a picture of a guy on there who is G Hughes. He's an older black man, and he's like, he puts his picture on there. He's got to be proud of that. So I got some, and he has to be proud of it. It's good stuff. So, but I mix it with a little sour cream to thicken it up, and I love that stuff. So that's my salad dressing now because it tastes good, and it's zero sugar, zero carbs, and I can have all that I want, you know. So that's a good thing. Mike Murphy says, Tim, is it snowing by you? South County, we're getting hammered in Boco. That must be somewhere. I don't know where that is. Dean Stevenson, something about sleeping like Zed. Rainy Day Auto, the original Mark Twain Zephyr had AC and made of stainless steel. Dean Stevenson, Z, not Zed. My vote is Juan, 23.5. Rogulet, welcome. Loco. Tim's just left the dogs out, just barely getting snow. Looks rough north, south of us. You know, we're going to get rain tonight, but it was 85 degrees here. I think we're done with all the ice for this year here. I hope. We might get some hail if when the thunderstorms come through in the next line, but it doesn't stick around. Tim says they just opened I-25 down by Trinity, getting a lot of snow down there. Man, it's April, man. It should be done with that. Stray bullet. Buff was hitting that hot vending machine at work too much. You know, I was, because a lot of times I couldn't get out of that place. I was too busy. So I'd get the food out of the hot vending machine. Yeah. Tim, no driving to New Mexico tonight. It's hippie long. Rainy day. Where are you, Mark Murphy? Buddy Carafano. Used to eat junk when worked long days and tired to cook, wanted something fast. That's what I did. I would work 2 shifts at work. I was responsible for all besides running the shop and doing all the design work on the airplanes and writing tech data, just everything. I just did everything. And supervise what's going on in the shop. And we had 2 shifts there, so I'd kind of stick around for the second shift. Second shift was only welders because that's where we always backed up in the welding area. But then when I was there late in the evening, then one of my responsibilities was international sales. So that's when I talked to the people in New Zealand and in Australia and people across, the rest of the world. And so I was always just there. And eating out of the machine. On the way home, stop at Burger King. It's just a terrible way to eat. But I was hungry and it sure tasted good. I got very, what do they call it? Rotund.
Fat.
Yeah. She tells me not to use the word fat because she goes, that's a slur. And I'm going, but I'm talking about me. I was fat, Mike Murphy, I'm in Loveland, Fort Collins. Man, years ago I had friends in Loveland and Fort Collins. They lived in Loveland and worked in Fort Collins. There's they both worked at we used to call it Target there. Rainy day. Okay, I'm also in Colorado. What part? Roguelet. Steam engines are quite steamy, rumor has it. Steam engines. Oh man, steam. I had a friend that built a steam car. He used a Honda motorcycle engine, a 4-cylinder inline motorcycle engine with the transmission, but he had, and the way I got involved with this, I built the radiator, so it was a closed loop system. So his boiler would run the steam engine, and then the steam would go back, and the radiator was the condenser, and then it'd go back and get reboiled. But I remember it sitting there in my shop, and it was still had pressure in it, and he had to move it, and he just got in it, and it just moved. Completely silent. It just moved. It was pretty funny. Rainy day, I work in Denver, live in Springs, and parents live in Pueblo. Hippie long, good fishing at, I'll murder that name, Villasita Lake by Durango before. Tim's been here in Colorado for over 30 years. We have gotten some of our biggest blizzards in April. You know, that's how Northeast Ohio was. Man, spring would be there. I knew spring was there. It was great. And then, wham, we'd get hit with a big old snowstorm off the lake in the middle of November or middle of April. That was not fun. It seemed like every year we got hit with a big one in a big snowstorm in April. Let's see here. Hippie long, I lived in Albany for a few years. Mike Murphy, isn't it funny, Tim? We can have 60, 70-degree days in January. Then we get hammered in April. Yeah. I like Pueblo the best. Smaller town, no traffic, a lot of old cars around. It's rainy day, says that. Hippie long, Albuquerque. You're in Albuquerque? Hippie long. No, you're in California, aren't you? Hippie long. I'm trying to remember. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. I'm supposed to have something come in. I've got to be checking my P.O. box tomorrow. See, I'm gonna drive. Oh no, it's gonna pouring rain.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll check it tomorrow, especially if it's a big old red thunderstorm coming over. But once it goes by, I'll drive down to the post office. And you've all seen my post office now, if you've seen my shorts of me driving the car. Steve Edwards and my dad flew out of the windshield in that Zephyr wreck. He went to the morgue. Then before the docs went home, they heard him moaning under the sheet, and they took him to the ER. That was in 1947. Oh, that kind of Zephyr. Oh, my God. That's crazy. Hippie long. Indians only come from India. Well, that's what I always said about Columbus. We celebrate Columbus Day every year. And this is a guy that his navigation was off by 13,000 miles because he thought he was in India. Hence, we have Indians here. Oh, jeez.
Grandma continue to call them Indians. How many decades later, even though we know how stupid that sounds.
Have a great night. Good night, everyone, or whatever she says here. Have a great night, everyone. My eyes are closing. God
Thank you for being here. Get some rest.
Take care.
We appreciate you. The idea is not to make people
rainy day. Those look like Native American Indian tribes. I was born in India. East Indian. You were born in India. Dean Stevenson, or have I got the wrong country? Okay, I missed something. Tim says, rainy day, that's a rough commute to Denver and back, especially when there's a car wreck. Car wrecks will mess everything up when you're going somewhere. Patrick Sullivan here in Illinois. April and November, we haul 4 seasons in those 2 months. Sometimes in the same damn week, yeah. Dean Stevenson, West Bengal, whatever all these places are in northeastern states. Okay. I'm lost how to pronounce all that. Patrick Sullivan, we have, I don't know what that means. Rainy day, I might move to Denver eventually because I recently started my job in Denver in mid-January. Happy long buff. I did get the notice your package is delivered.
Sweet, thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll as soon as we have a weather window, I think we're going to have big old bad line of thunderstorms come through. There'll probably be some tornadic activity, but once that gets through, I'll drive my car down there and check it out. If it fits in a P.O. box, I'll be able to pick it up tomorrow. If it doesn't, there's no post office through there, so I'll have to go down Monday and when the office is open. So let's see here. Dean Stevenson, I'm lucky. I've worked night shift caregiving for 11 years. I was the only non-Indo-European on the floor. Rogulet, Hopi or Mohawk? Is it Hopi or Hopi? Hopi's in Arizona, I believe. My best friend studied Buddhism in Bengal. I loved his stories about life there. Buddy Carfano, why do flat tires only happen on rainy days? Oh, why does everything always happen on windy? Last night, pouring ass rain, my car has a fuel leak.
Oh, we could smell it.
We're walking back
100
from
foot
the
away.
shop.
We're like, what's that smell?
I smell gasoline. We get over, the closer we get the car, the more we smell gasoline. I got it parked downhill a little bit, and there's a fuel line. We open up the hood, and Kim goes, you want to fix it? And I go, it's pouring rain. She goes, the whole tank's going to drain out. Yeah, okay. So I got the hood open and got tools, and we're fixing a fuel leak in the pouring rain. I'm like, why do cars always break down in the pouring rain at night when you're parked in the mud? Just the way it is.
Nature of the beast.
Oh, yeah. Hippie long package. Seems we've been waiting for weeks. Rainy Day Auto. I've been in the USA since teenage years, which is how I discovered beautiful Mopars.
Mopars are cool.
You know, I've liked all cars. I don't know about all cars, but all brands of cars, American cars, they've all made stuff I like, you know. And
blasphemy!
What?
You gotta only like one kind.
So I had a lot of Fords.
He's polyamorous.
I've had some Chevrolets. I've had Pontiacs. I've had Buicks. I've had Oldsmobiles. Never owned a Cadillac.
What's the word for when you like different kinds of car manufacturer?
I don't know. On Chryslers, I've had Plymouths. I've had Dodges. I even had one Chrysler, which was I don't really consider it a luxury car because it was a PT Cruiser. And then Fords. I've had Fords, Mercurys. Never had an Edsel or a Lincoln. Rainy Day. My adoptive dad has a 69 Cuda he's had since 1972. Well, that's really cool. And that's my favorite body style. Anything Chrysler made was 67 through 69 Barracuda. The big long fastback one. I think that's really cool stuff. Dean Stevenson, because the water allows high hysteresis rubber to that, whatever.
I think that's hocus pocus.
Might be long. I'm a car slut. Kim, what you doing with these? They look like sprockets.
So, see how the teeth on these are really little?
Yeah.
And these are big?
Different diameter chain things. And now you don't have the right chain.
Well, now the transmission has got the wrong chain.
Hocus Pocus by Focus. Yeah, Dean, I remember that real well. What was that, like in 1973 or something? I think I was in the Air Force when that came out. I think. Man. '73 was a pretty good year for music. Of course, I was in the Air Force. I paid $200 for a '62 Ford, which was 11-year-old, kind of a rusty car, but it ran good. Had a little aftermarket radio in it, AM radio. I was in Illinois, so I used to listen to WLS Chicago, which had all the top 40 at the time. What a great time in my life, you know. Yours truly, bridal ad, but I'm not getting married. Tell a cell phone.
Maybe you are.
What
Maybe
is
it knows
Trello?
something that you don't know.
Rainy Day Auto, discovering classic cars is a life-changing experience that everyone should experience.
Oh yeah, everyone should know the pain of owning a classic car.
Hello, you want tea? Buddy Carfano, when drove tow truck, could not believe so many did not know where the key for a lug nut lock was. Oh man, you drove tow trucks. I drove tow trucks.
Oh right, they had cars with lug nuts and they didn't know where the key was hidden.
How many
They didn't
times
keep
did
track.
you see? I drove AAA truck for a while, and so I get AAA calls. A lockout, late at night, early morning hours. Go out there, and it's some drunk that's come out from the bar, and he or she, I don't know if it's ever a she, he had locked his keys in the trunk and wants me to get the keys out of the trunk so he can drive away. And I got to be the guy that's got to act like I can't get him out of the trunk and he's going to have to call a locksmith tomorrow because I don't want him driving because he can't even stand up without holding onto the car. And I used to do that. And they'd get really mad at me. I'd just call a taxi. Go back in the bar and call a taxi. And call a locksmith tomorrow. I'm not breaking into your trunk, you know. And that happened to me so many times. I'm not going to find some guy's keys that's drunk off his ass. Next is mail order bride, Dean. Rainy, we had cheap cars, but they were all Hondas. Like Murphy. Tim says, my car didn't start out being a classic. We both got old together. Yeah, Hippie Wonk says, Kim's fading.
No, I have a question for you
You have a question
about welding.
about welding.
This is chrome plated. How does that affect welding? MIG welding.
To ruin the chrome, it'll probably burn it off, and I don't know, you may be able to scrape it away. It may dissolve into the weld and make some unknown alloy. I don't know. Why? What do you want? I'm not sure.
Well, do I need to grind it off? I guess is my question. In order to get a good.
Probably, I would be concerned if you're concerned with strength, and that part you might be, that the chrome combines with the steel and turns into an excessively chrome alloy. It might be really brittle.
Probably best.
And especially after it cools quickly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty funny. My car didn't start out being a classic. We both got, hey, am I a classic? You know, you get beyond classic and you become, what do you have? Classic car license plates, and then you have
Antique.
Antique. That's what I am, an antique. I'm older than my classic car by quite a stretch. Dean Stevenson, Turkmenistan, something biting me. Got rid of them. Turkmenistan, the only ones I like. Don't do mail order brides. I check. Buddy car found a head drunk call for keys locked in car, convertible with the top down. Sounds about right.
You know, we still have to do at least one short.
We have to do at
review.
least one short. Mike Murphy. Yeah, nothing too interesting. Just 13-year-old videos of my Bronco. What next?
Convertible with the top down. You're lying.
Clarksville is. We're kind of out away from that area between Clarksville and Nashville.
Yeah, Northwest of Nashville.
Um, vintage sounds better, so I'm vintage. Oh yeah, chromium steel. Yeah, that's what we'll have. We'll have, yeah, well, 4130 is chromoly. This will be chromoly. Chromium steel isn't a state. Misinformation.
Misinformation.
But was born in the horse and buggy days. Man, my parents, you can imagine, they were like 20-something years older than me. So I was born in the 50s. They were born in the 20s. And they lived in New York City. Well, in 1950, they moved out to California. Well, my father was already going to school in California. And then my mother moved out. My dad went back there and they got married and they flew out to California. And, when we were kids, my brother was really into watching all the old Westerns and watching all the old the people going across the country in the covered wagons and all that. He loved those shows. So my mother one time said something about when they flew to California. We were little kids. He looked at her. He goes, "You flew to California?" And she goes, "Yeah. How'd you think we got here?" And he goes, "In the covered wagon." She's like, No. That was like 100 years before us. He was so disappointed she didn't come across the country in the
He probably told all his
covered
friends.
wagon. Yeah. Well, I remember when she had her 35th birthday, he went to school and he was sharing with all his friends that his mother was 53. Right numbers, wrong order. And the teacher knew my mother real well and called her and said she thought it was pretty funny that he was telling all his friends that his mother was 53. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm not 53. Man, what'd I do to be 53 again?" Oh, man. 53 was fine. Of course, 35 was probably better. Yeah. But you don't say use. Do you say use? Tim says, I traded my 67 GTX convertible. Oh, just that sounds bad. With a 440 Super Commando, 30,000 miles. Got $900 for it. Trade on my Demon. That's what classic muscle cars were worth in 72. That was probably a lot of money. Man. 67, and that was in 72. Stray bullet. My ancestors came to the West Coast in a covered wagon. Really? Buff grew up in the little house on the prairie. I lived not too far from there. I lived in Brookings, South Dakota, and that was in, where were they? DeSmet, South Dakota, which wasn't very far from Brookings because I've been to DeSmet many times. So I knew where that was. But that was way before me. Hippie long. I love demons, but a GTX. Okay, what are we going to do for a short? A short? Oh, I have to do a short. I'm going to do a short of me talking on the live stream. That's not a good short. That's just, I can do a short during the live stream. I've done that many times. Hippie long. They still use horse and buggy where I grew up. Hey, where I lived in Ohio, there were lots of people with horse and buggy there. And yeah, rainy day. The Demon is way better than the GTX. I'm totally into A bodies. And that's I like B bodies, but the A body that 67 through 69 Barracudas, I really like those a lot. But I also like the Utes down under, the Valiant Utes. So I think that may be the next thing we do in here. I'm not sure. Well, the next thing, we got a couple little things to do. The cars we're driving, but the next big one that's going to hog the shop for a while, I think, may be the Ute. B bodies are big and bulky. A bodies are so well balanced. I've had C bodies, and they're big, but cruising down the highway, they're pretty nice. And I wouldn't mind having another C body. I've got a 318 Poly that I put together for a C body, but I don't know. Yeah, in today's world, as a car, they're kind of big. But considering all the giant trucks on the road, they're not that big. But yeah, I like to go down the road, like go 1,000 miles or something. C-bodies just sit there and kind of guide them down the road. And they got like super power steering. It feels like it's just got a wheel bearing there. It feels like it's not even connected. You ever driven one of those that has that power steering that's like power steering?
Yeah,
Oh,
the Aspen Velaris had that,
had that?
and then I think the truck I had that. It's very soft.
Okay, what am I gonna say? Yeah, Rainey, you can make A-bodies really handle. That's your thing. Yep, I agree with that. And I remember a friend of mine bought a brand new 69 Dodge Dart and with a 318 and automatic, and that thing you could just pile that thing into a corner hard. He had it came with Goodyear polyglass tires in '69, but not too long after that, he put some kind of Pirelli uh, radials on it. This is probably 1970. Man, you go in a corner, I think in the corner. That thing was fun. But my A-bodies don't feel like that now. We got to get them back to that point. My Valiant's got half excuse me, half the front end rebuilt. We got to rebuild the other half. Ron Bertram. I hate wide ratio steering. Great for straight line drag racing, but not too great for windy country roads. Yeah, that's kind of how the old cars were. I noticed it on my, I keep saying my Fairmont, my Zephyr. That thing, it's kind of between the really slow old steering and the new, quicker steering. It's a little slower than the new cars. And yeah, I wonder if they make a faster ratio rack and pinion for that. Just what I need to spend money on, right? Actually, it's probably fine. Now that I think about spending money. Oh, it says I kind of have a formula for that, but I'll probably start looking for aftermarket sway bars now. And that friend of mine that died not too long ago, that he and I had a shop together, he was a stocking distributor for Adco, which I think is still in business, ADDCO, Adco sway bars. And I talked to his wife not too long ago, and she didn't know what to do with all that stuff. He still had quite a stock, and she gave them all away. She goes, I couldn't pay storage on that stuff any longer. She gave away that whole supply of Adco sway bars he had. It's like, man, I don't know who she gave it to, but they're gone. She goes, I can't pay storage on all that stuff any longer. Rainy day. I'm not really into well handling A-body. I like the super stock look with the front end slightly higher. Kim, what am I going to do? I need my phone. Oh, here's my phone right in front. I think you are fading. Are you fading? You're fading. They were right. Okay. What are we going to do a short on? I'm not ready. Next spec. Okay, guys, I have to head out. Be up early for my tomography test in the morning. Okay. Thanks for hanging out for so long, Mexican Spec. We'll see you in whatever the next one is we do. Okay.
Have a good testing.
I'm going to drag this thing over. This is going to make noise, everybody. I'm going to drag it over. And I'm going to take some of the debris away.
Debris?
Don't take my... I was thinking that might be something I could do a short on, but I don't know.
Okay.
Where's your chain? You have a section of chain or just a huge chain? Oh, it's already Saturday. I'm sure it is. It is already Saturday. 12:32 a.m. The rack is rear-mounted steering on A-bodies. Still Friday for some of us. Man, we're in different days. Okay, so which one does that fit? That fits. Ooh, this is a rusty old chain. Is this a whole hoop? Or is this a... No, it's a whole hoop. Okay, so this chain... Oh, this is where I can show this. Okay, so... Tak. Tak means so in Russian. Okay. Toolman must have something in toolbox to show. Okay, so they're talking like they want me to show tools. Kim, you got all different size sprockets here. Spacely sprocket. You remember Spacely sprocket? I don't know if I want to do this again. What's a tool? Is there a tool there I can do? Is a paintbrush a tool? Rainy day. I'm going junkyarding in the morning. Probably won't find anything. Good, but you can't find it if you don't look. Is it going to be all full of snow out where you are? You going to be digging in a junkyard in the snow?
Yikes.
You're looking for me, huh?
What am I looking for? I forget.
I don't know. Something to do with short with. You brought me something here. The chain brake. I already did the chain brake. The chain breaker. I already did a short on that. Already put it up. Tavo, but at this exact time tomorrow, it will be 3:03 p.m. Sunday. Oh man. Okay. I know what I want to do. I want to get these things off here. I've got a good one. I'm going to talk about safety. Kim, where can I set this stuff? Do we have a wheel chock handy? A wheel chock. Big old wheel chock.
Big rubber one?
Yeah, but yeah, something like that.
Probably. That's not a wheel chock.
No, this is a ramp, but I'm going to talk about ramps and wheel chocks because of the accident I had in 2016 that about cost me my life, but I got away with that one. We don't have any wheel chocks in here? Kim's going out to look at wheel chocks. Oh yeah, she's fading. I'm sorry. There's a perfect one. Oh, a perfect two. Okay, we can set these up here.
They're dirty. Don't put them on my mouse pad. Come on. I don't know what you're doing, but
You just crashed. You just crashed the mouse.
You're making such a mess. I'm trying to help.
I know. I just wanted to set this up where I can get at it. You're mad at me.
Darn you. Come on, old man. You're making a mess. And you're going to do this in a minute.
Yeah, I am.
Go.
I want to talk about these ramps. They're real convenient because you can pull a car up on them. And I did this one time and really screwed up because I didn't take care of the safety part of it. And this little ridge right here that's supposed to keep the car from rolling off doesn't keep the car from rolling off. So what you need to do is get a couple of wheel chocks like that or like this and put them on both sides of the back tires or whichever end is on the ground so the car can't roll, because then it'll keep it from going off and rolling onto you. And what happened to me was the car rolled off, rolled up on my chest, and broke 4 vertebrae, 5 vertebrae, 4 ribs, and I had it called a pneumothorax. You can really get hurt with one of these unless you chalk the tires, so please be careful. Chalk the tires. Okay, I want to do it again. I messed it up. I don't know if I need both of those. Okay. Safety third. Yeah, right. Okay, we'll go again. Del Campo here. I want to talk about these ramps. They're real convenient to pull a car up on here and work on the car. But they got a little ridge here to keep the car from rolling back off. But this little ridge is not enough. I know, because I had one roll off onto me. Broke 5 vertebrae and 4 ribs and ended up in the hospital. So what you need to do is have a couple of wheel chocks like this. Put them on each side of the back wheels. In case you're on a hill, you don't really know which way it's going to roll. So, make sure you have these so you don't end up with broken ribs like I did. So when you use these, they're okay to use, but make sure you wheel chalk your car first. How long was that?
41 seconds.
Okay. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm sorry, Kim. I know you've reached your limit. Haven't you?
Yeah.
I can tell. Del Campo here. I want to talk about these ramps. Okay, my voice is good enough on there. I'll accept. You want to go, don't you?
I just am wearing out, and we've been going for 3.5 hours. They're probably worn out too.
They're worn out too. Is that chalk the tires or chalk the? Yeah, I actually, in one of the manuals I was writing, some idiot had written chalk, CHALK, in the checklist to chalk the tires on a airplane. And you see somebody go out and put chalk marks on airplane tires.
Cars are heavy. It's gonna roll right on you.
Yeah, it rolled over me. Tim, you spilled all my drinks. Yeah, but I had one roll up on me.
Clean up a little bit.
Huh?
Been out here for 3.5 hours. You haven't cleaned anything at all.
Yep, she's upset with me. Ads inserted. Patrick Sullivan's taking off. Take care. See you later.
See, people are getting tired.
Kim says people are getting tired.
It's not just me. We've been going for hours and hours and hours. Did you guys have a good time? Did we entertain a little bit? We like to be entertaining. We want you to have a good time, some community time, enjoy the conversation. Everybody gets to say what's going on.
Paolo says go to bed, clean up in the morning. Rainy day. It's Friday night, and this is my partying since I don't think it's safe to go out to clubs and the like. Well, I'm glad you're here partying because I kind of enjoy this on Friday nights.
There's places we could go, but we'd rather be here. We like doing our streaming and our working on our channel growth. Although honestly, it's just being here so that like when new people show up, we can greet them and introduce like them to what we're doing, show them our projects, talk about our events, and that's the kind of stuff that that we're about here. You know, we appreciate everybody who comes and contributes, hangs out very frequently. You guys are here a lot, and you hang out. Some of you have been here the entire time. Anybody who's made it to the end of the stream, I'm awarding you 2 points for being here at the end. And I thank you for your comments and for your patience. And I apologize that I was distracted. I was working on my mini bikes. We should be working on the cars, but as we said earlier, it's too muddy to bring the cars.
If we bring them down here, we'll never get them back.
Yeah, and he wants to be able to drive his car, and nothing that we're doing on it is like so bad that he can't drive it. So in a couple more days.
Dean Stevenson wrote.
Yes, Dean. Yes.
He got a Kia EV3 ad.
Oh, okay. If you guys got an ad and you're calling it out here, you get 2 points. Kia EV3. I haven't seen that commercial yet. I always get the Granger commercial. Man, get a lot of them. And
Wendy's still here? Because she says she's still here.
Thank you for still being here. She probably had it on while she's folding laundry. Mike Murphy says he has 3,454 points.
Well, he can.
That seems a little suspect.
He can come get the Subaru.
I want to see your spreadsheet. I want to know
how many. Audit him?
How many points you got each stream, which nights they were, and what they were for, where they, why I awarded them to you, and then I'm going to go back and rewatch those streams. Oh, and I want timestamps when they were ordered.
Oh, jeez.
If you're gonna say you have 3,000 points, I am gonna audit you. I know you don't.
Rainy Day Auto says I don't have commercials, so I don't get points. Wait a minute. Are you YouTube Premium? You have YouTube Premium? Tavo, I'm about 11.5 points.
I gave everybody who was in chat 2 points just now. Rainy Day, you got some points. But the people who have.
Wait a minute. I want to know if Rainy Day is Buddy Carfano, don't forget 1977 pictures for Tuesday night.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. So on Tuesday nights, we do the live stream from the studio. If you're not aware, most of you know this already, but from our studio where we have a green screen and we put up pictures and we talk about cars and automotive adjacent topics. And we usually pick a year so that we have a little bit of like focus. So we're not just all over the map. And so this coming Tuesday, we will be talking about cars from the year 1977. So if you have a favorite car or a least favorite, something that you hate, go on Google, find a picture, and email it to buckdelcampo@gmail.com, or just have it ready, and we'll throw that email up during the stream, and you can email it to him, and we'll put the picture up, and we'll talk about it. And that's something fun that we get to do on Tuesday night that really, I am more focused on Tuesday night, right? I'm not out here working. We're in the studio.
I want to say two things.
Go ahead.
Gotta find it. Rainy Day Auto says, yes, premium YouTube. Can I give away 3 points? Because Rainy Day will never get commercials, and all these other people get all these points for commercials, yet Rainy Day helps pay the bills here.
All right, well then, how's this sound? Anybody who's here listening, who's got YouTube Premium, we're awarding you 4 points for commercial allowances because you're still here. You haven't clicked away, but you're paying YouTube. And anyways, you're getting 4 points if you got YouTube Premium. All you other people who are here, you get advertisements, and if you call them out, you get an opportunity to get
points. Your ads, you get points. But
we don't always do that, but we're going to do that tonight because you asked.
But
you said it seems more fair to give us some points too.
Premium YouTube.
And okay.
That some of that money goes into the pot for the people you're watching. So that's
Tim's got to put the dog to bed. Thanks for sticking around, Tim. Pet the dog. Can I pet that dog?
The other thing I want to say is, Mrs. One-Eye Cat says aluminum slots rule. You know what I really want? I want some aluminum slots that fit Ford 4 by 4 1/4. 4 floor lug, 4 1/4. circle diameter for my Zephyr. Somebody's got to find those sometime, and I'd really like a set of those. But anyway, Tavo, or pay for ads you blocked. Oh yeah, Tavo gave us
Thank
gave
you,
us super
Tavo,
chat
and
for-
to everyone who has offered us
because he
super
blocked
chats this month. We've got a bunch of donations here and there popped in, and I think maybe if I did better dancing, we'd get more good super chats.
You know, that may
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
Oh,
'Cause my
that may-
dancing really, I don't know if it's worthy of a bunch of.
that may be a pinto size, because
What
I
is a
had
pinto
I
size?
had 4 lug aluminum slots
Oh yeah,
on my pinto wagon, and that's
Yeah.
probably what they were,
it rolled.
because
right
I
into
had
it.
like 8-inch on the back and maybe 10-inch on the back and 8 on the front. That thing looked really cool. And then I had them anodized gold. But I'd like to do that on this car because it sure look a lot better than the little skinny, whatever they are, 4.5-inch wide tires or wheels.
Mike Murphy says, weird thing is, I don't have premium and I have not gotten a single ad besides when I joined the stream.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, because
That's
you've
really
been here
weird.
quite a bit.
Because I see them pop up here. I know when they go out. That's really weird.
I'm surprised. I wonder what YouTube. They must not think they know how to
Oh.
advertise to you.
Buddy Carfano, you're right. Pinto is the 13, the Zephyr's the 14. But I know my Pinto probably had 14s or 15s on it. I bet they were 15s on the back and 14s on the front, because that was not stock. They were big old slots, aluminum slots. But yeah, I'd go for any diameter as long as they're not 13s. I'd rather have them 15s.
Stray Bullet got auto-corrected to say luggage pattern instead of lug pattern. It
What is
changed
this?
it to
Where's this?
luggage.
Oh, probably the same luggage pattern. Yeah.
Autocorrect is funny.
I've had some. Yeah,
you
the
could use
Ford
Ford Ranger rims. No, the Ranger rims are 5-bolt. They're 5-lug.
See, then I got the front end. I might be able to fit. I don't know. Then I got to go through all that. Right now, I could just put 4 by 4 1/4 or by 108 millimeter.
We got to figure it out because you need better tires. There's some dry rot cracking on those tires.
Yeah, I know. And when I get tires, I'd rather not buy a set of skinny ones and then buy a set of fat ones later. I hate autocorrect. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. I was making fun of autocorrect because it's funny that it did that to you.
I've had some horrible autocorrects.
I knew what you meant right away. I thought it was funny as heck that it said luggage pattern.
Autocorrupt. Yeah, you're right.
Autocorrupt. Yeah, that's right. Automatically
Ranger
think
Wheeler 5 on 4.5 because they fit old Mopars.
Yes, right. 5 on 4.5.
Somebody in here told us that those Ranger ones, the bearings and everything would fit on the front of the spindle.
Yes.
So if that were true, I could do that. But then I got 4-lug on the rear. That means I got to go out and find an 8.8 rear end. That's going to cost. And I just...
Well, we could swap out the axles out of...
Yeah, are there axles that fit that are 5 lugs? Or
there might be.
These that are re-drill hubs. I've thought about that too. I don't know. I guess you can make anything if you want to. Okay.
You could buy axles. I don't know.
So we'll be back at some point, probably before Tuesday, but most certainly we'll be here on Tuesday. So use the 8.8 from the Ranger. Yeah, that means we're going to have to.
It'll be wider.
Well, but wait a minute. Doesn't that leaf springs? So we're going to have to weld a bunch of mounts on it and everything.
Yeah, Ranger truck could have leaf springs.
Yeah, this has got 4-link. I don't know. Rainy, does your family have a shop in the Springs or Pueblo? Okay, they're talking about that, but we're about ready to get out of here. So,
guys, it's been a good night. We enjoyed it.
Coming up on 4 hours here, which I don't think we intended to.
It wore us out.
I don't know, Dean.
Dean likes Papa's chicken. All right, guys.
Okay.
We'll be back, I don't know, soon enough.
I can't find my cursor. There it is. Good night, everybody. Take care.